We gave deep voice announcer guy the day off, did we? Hey, is my mic cover over there somewhere? Oh, right there in front of me.
Yeah. Usually when you point, you're pointing right at something, and I was like an inch away from where I was pointing.
Hang on, we're working on it. We're getting our stuff together.
So I put that over there for you, and I also put your headphones over there because they were still over here.
I appreciate it.
Because once again, you helped me out last night, so I was trying to help you out.
For sure, I appreciate it.
I didn't want to touch your mic cover too much because that's frowned upon.
Say something to introduce the show.
Welcome into the Rob Brown experience.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Rob is wearing pineapples today.
And guitars. Well, ukuleles, I guess, technically. Bongos. Listen, let me how long after you go on vacation, how long is it before you unpack?
When I get back.
Like the night you get back? Are you one of those people? One of those weirdos?
Well, usually I exhaust the amount of clothing that
Yeah.
So it's really a matter of putting it in the laundry.
Yeah. See, I got back from vacation 2 weeks ago, or a week ago. 2 weeks ago.
Let's go with 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago. And
it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I got back from vacation 2 weeks ago, and I unpacked the next day. Except for obviously unpacking involved a lot of dirty laundry because there weren't laundry machines there. So I got back.
Wait. So an all-inclusive resort didn't do your laundry?
I mean, I could have like had the resort do laundry for me.
I mean, it's a legitimate question. Is that included in the all-inclusive?
It could have been, yeah. I could have had them do laundry for me. Yeah, you can like put your bags out. You can like put your dirty clothes in.
There were like stains and things you didn't want them to see or something. Why wouldn't you have them do your laundry? I'm just saying.
Because I brought enough laundry for the whole trip.
Okay.
I brought enough clothes for the whole trip. Anyway, the point is I did my laundry and I just have not put it away. It's been 2 weeks and I have not put it away yet. So I was like, crap. I've officially run out of work shirts, right? When I say work shirts, I try to, more often than not, at least wear a shirt with a collar on it. Granted, it may have flamingos or guitars or whatever else on it.
I do want to point out we're doing something a little bit later today.
Yeah, no, I'm leaving here.
That's the shirt that's going to be on it.
No. I'm leaving here. There's a sports store right across the street that I'm hoping has an apropos T-shirt or jersey
I
available.
will tell you there's an academy down the road.
Is that the spot to go?
That will have some.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's a good thing we make that radio cheddar.
There's also a Target right there.
A Target
across from it or close to it. Close to it, and it.
What Lonzo is referring to here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to ask this question because I asked it yesterday on Offsides, and I didn't actually get an answer.
From who?
Anybody.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because I'll give you the setup. So those of you that have listened to the show for any length of time know that I am a long-term New Orleans Saints fan. I was born in New Orleans. My family are all Saints fan. I've been a Saints fan literally since I was born, right? I was wrapped in a Saints blanket when I was born. Been a Saints fan since I was born. So Odyssey has hired Lonzo and I to now be the host of their nationally published Carolina Panthers podcast entitled Views from Mint Street. Well, Zoe and I recorded episode 1 last week, but we recorded it, obviously, talking about Friday night's preseason game. Well, in the discussion about Friday night's preseason game, there was, after we got done recording it, a little bit of a software issue as far as us being able to upload our material to Odyssey to have it published on the Views from Mint Street podcast feed, which if you are a Panthers fan or a Rob Brown or Lonzo fan, go to your podcast provider of choice, whether it is Stitcher or Spotify or Google Play or iTunes, search Views from Mint Street and get yourself subscribed to that show.
Yeah, except not yet because there's nothing up there. There will be today,
you
though.
can go ahead and get subscribed
can
to
you?
it. Yeah,
okay.
It's already
right.
up to be subscribed to, but there's no episodes up yet. Because we recorded one last week, but there were some software issues that prevented us from actually uploading the podcast. So, Lonzo and I have to upload a podcast today. Well, there is a video element to this podcast. Basically, we're gonna record the podcast for podcasts, but we'll record it video-wise, and clips of video will be grabbed to put out there in the social media sphere, in
all over the
chunks.
world.
Right.
So Rob doesn't need to go pineapples and beer for the first one and go all over the world.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would. I don't care. And by the way, those aren't beer glasses. They're bongos, dude.
Are they?
They're drums.
Okay. Well, it was you. So I just made it.
The assumption's fair, but they're bongos, not beer glasses. Anyway, here's the question that I have. I was filling in yesterday for Diesel on Offsides with Mark Ryan. I'll be doing the same thing today. And on Tuesdays, they play their game Offsides or Onsides or whatever it's called. And you give a statement about life, and then you let other people decide whether it's offsides or not. For instance, yesterday's number one obviously was drinking a beer using a hot dog as a straw, onsides or offsides.
So Mark on your side on that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Diesel.
You're by yourself on that.
Yeah. Well, Diesel, I get that. You guys are like-minded when it comes to that sort of thing. That's fine. But did you mention my paper straw theory?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
All right, because I think that would sway more people to my side, but that's fine.
Again, just don't use a straw. But that's not the point. Not the point of the conversation. I can't go down that tangent because it'll turn into a 2.5-hour tirade against that guy. Who, by the way, Lonzo admitted after seeing the video on the brand new 65-inch 4K HD, definitely, if he's 40, is 40.
Yeah, but still old by certain people's standards.
Yeah, by teenager standards.
Right.
So anyway, here's the question. I am a lifelong New Orleans Saints fan, but I have financial interest in the Carolina Panthers being good. I'm not a Clemson fan, I'm not a Gamecock fan, but I have a financial interest in those teams being good. So my question is this. Fair or foul for Rob Brown, lifelong Saints fan? After this show is over, Lonzo and I will be recording episode 1 of Views from Mint Street. This episode will drop tomorrow morning. I believe all the kinks in the system have been worked out. Fingers crossed. So episode 1 should be dropping tomorrow morning around 5 a.m., 5:30 a.m. We'll record it today after the show. Because there is a video element of it, Rob Brown's plan after this show is over is to head to the local sporting goods store and pick up a Carolina t-shirt or 4 to put into the rotation, right? I'll grab a couple of t-shirts, maybe a jersey. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's available. We'll see what I want. The question is, fair or foul? As a lifelong X fan, is it fair to get paid to represent a rival in a positive light, right? Like I have said for years, I can't stand an Atlanta Falcon. Can't stand an Atlanta Falcon. But if tomorrow the Dirty Birds called me and said, hey, Rob Brown, we want you to come be the new play-by-play voice of the Atlanta Falcons, I would take that job, right? I would take that job.
But see, we got this covered because I am a Carolina Panthers fan. And the other day you remarked, I haven't seen you wear a Carolina gear just because I wore all of it out to the point where I need to buy some new stuff. I've had these discussions, especially early on with Mark Ryan, who you can't be a fan of two teams, you guys. That's ridiculous. I've been a fan of the Panthers and the Chiefs. Panthers are my NFC team. Chiefs are my AFC team. So you got Panthers covered. I've been going to Panthers camp for 25 years.
But let me be that guy. This ain't about you.
No, what I'm saying is I can be the fan. You can be the analyst. We got this covered. What you're wearing is a uniform. That's all I'm saying.
And that's the way I approach it, right?
It's a uniform.
Like for the sake of doing that job.
I didn't buy this jersey. My wife did, but I've had it for years. I mean, so there you go.
Right.
You're going out today to buy a uniform.
I'm going out today to buy what I am considering work clothes, right?
Right.
Like I would not, for instance, just go hang out downtown in a suit.
If you were hired to cover the Clemson Tigers,
sure,
and had to buy something orange, well, then you'd have to wear that. because
literally
because it's part of the
but
job.
Here's the thing. That is the situation we're talking about with Carolina. But the problem is, and the reason that I am going to be a diva and make this about me is that since the inception of the Panthers and the divisional realignment decades ago, I am, for the majority of my life, I have been and am a fan of a direct rival, right? The comparison you would make there is if you graduated from South Carolina and you were a lifelong Gamecocks fan and your parents were lifelong Gamecocks fans who were at Carolina's first game, et cetera, et cetera. If you are a lifelong Gamecock fan, graduate, alum, whatever, and then you got paid money to cover Clemson, would you wear the orange or would you do it just enough to get around it, right? Like it's one thing to wear the orange shirt but not have a tiger paw on it, right? Or to wear a purple shirt but not have a tiger paw on it. And there was a part of me that's like, okay, I can go buy a Panthers blue polo shirt with no logo on it. I can just wear black. I can just wear black polos every time I do this. I can go get a silver polo that has no logo on it, and I would be repping the colors. But is it fair or foul of me to rep a Panthers logo, to rep the Panthers recording this nationally published podcast, which if Lonzo and I can get it as big as I believe, would pay us lots of money to do it.
It really is it's a
like
lot.
we could make good money with this
so
thing.
when it's out there, please, download, subscribe, and do it every week. There will be 3 podcasts a week during the season, 4 per. Yeah, so just download them all.
Yeah.
Just listen to it. I want you to listen to all of it, but at least enough to,
Yeah, we get paid per click, right? So so for Lonzo and I, we are going to be pushing this thing in Charlotte all the way through the Carolinas and really to Panthers fans around the world because every click is money for Lonzo and I. So I guess that is ultimately my question is
I might even go to the mall and say, hey, can I see your phone for a second?
Yeah.
And then just click and
100%.
say, here you go.
If you
have
see
it
a
back.
dude in a Panthers hat, if you see a chick in a Panthers shirt, tell them about the pod. It helps us, right? The question I have here to go full diva and make it about me is, what is your opinion on my fandom if I lifelong, and I'm not going to not be a Saints fan anymore, right? Like I grew up with them. I can't just not be a Saints fan, but lifelong Saints fan wearing the Panthers logo. Now, I will throw this out there. The Panthers logo will pretty much only be sported when I'm doing the pod, right? Like you're not going to see me rolling around downtown in Carolina Panthers gear. The second question I have behind that one, the second question that I have behind this one, right, which is, am I a bad fan for being a lifelong Saints fan, but rocking a rival's gear and getting paid to do it, right? I'm not just like, oh, I just like the color. I'm getting paid to do it. The other question that I have here is, and this one is every bit as genuine of a question that I'm asking you guys. The other question here is, would you listen to a pod about your team that is done A, by a not fan of your team, and B, by a known rival of your team, right? Like I for instance, I love neutral pods.
I believe you're costing me money right now. I mean, I don't
I
like
might be
that.
costing myself money.
Yeah, because you're trying to give reasons why people shouldn't listen to it. You know what? To spite Rob, you need to listen because of the question he just asked and get everyone to listen to, don't let him do that. What are you doing? I don't want to kill the bit or anything, but correct me if I'm wrong. Last year, you did a Panther show on another station
100%.
for the entire season.
And it was well listened to
there
and
you
well
go.
attended.
The people came out and said hi to you. They didn't come out and go, why are you doing this?
Right. Now, I still got lines. Like I still on the text line during those shows would get texts about, oh, I'm not listening to a Saints fan talk about my da. And I guess that's my question, right? So am I a bad fan for repping a rival's logo if I'm getting paid to do it? A. And B, do you want a pod that is done by fans of your team, by a neutral fan, by a rival of your team? Like, which of those would most... I actually would love a pod about my team done by a rival. I really would. I would love a pod about my team done by a rival because, I mean, who's going to give you a more honest breakdown of your team than the guy who wants to beat it, right? So I'm intrigued by that. All right, a couple of texts that have come in so far. Texter says on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307. Texter says, Rob, I have a family member who reps Clemson and South Carolina gear as they majored in biology and graduated USC as a physician's assistant, onsides or offsides. So they say that they basically hold a degree from both schools, right? They hold a degree from both schools, or they're a Clemson fan who then went to South Carolina but maintained their love for Clemson. I have a family member who reps Clemson and U of SC gear as they majored in biology and graduated MUSC as a physician's assistant, onsides or off. So does that mean they were a Clemson fan and then went to SC? Because if so, honestly, I don't know how I feel about that, right? Like, you're an alumni of this school now, not just a T-shirt fan, a sidewalk.
You don't have to understand it. What it comes down to, your fandom's your own. Don't let anyone define who you are and how you feel. Just do your thing, man. Don't let people criticize you for wearing some. I may not get it, but if it's good for you, just go ahead and do it.
Texture says, Rob, the Ted DiBiase quote definitely applies here. Oh yeah. I listen. Wrestling teaches life lessons.
It does. It absolutely does.
And Ted DiBiase taught one of the most important ones. Everybody's got a price. I can't stand the Dirty Birds, but if Atlanta called me tomorrow and asked me to be the play-by-play guy, I'm absolutely taking that job. Absolutely. I would hate wearing black and red every day, but I never say it publicly.
By the way, I got a sweet Panther blanket yesterday I was telling you about that lights up.
I like it.
And it shows the stands, and if you push the button, the stands light up like it's flashing.
I like it.
It's sweet.
I like it. Texture says, Rob, you will need to get a water gun to cool off the ladies when you wear the Carolina Panthers colors, especially if you wear a Luke Kuechly jersey. Well, I can't rock the Kuechly jersey because it's already got dibs on it by the man sitting across from me, the great one, Lonzo, rocking the Luke Kuechly jersey as we speak.
And you don't have the cool blue eyes that pop when you wear
correct.
a certain color. You don't. But
see, and that's the thing is
you can get contacts, but people will know.
The other thing, is there a difference in wearing a jersey versus just getting a T-shirt?
I don't like how this jersey fits, which is why I don't wear it that much. And It's not about the weight thing; it's the way the jersey is designed.
Sure,
I like the mesh jerseys better. I think they fit better. But this one's I like it, especially since my wife likes it. But
Texter said, Rob, if you did go to that academy, there are a few Saints items there, so you wouldn't feel like a complete traitor. Yeah, I do think if I pick up a Carolina shirt, I'm going to grab a new Saints shirt to go with it, right? Give my team some equal love. Yeah, I know I'm poor. I get it. Keegan says, what about a Panthers Hawaiian shirt? I'm down.
Speaking of that, I have a lot of Panthers gear. I also have a lot of Chiefs gear. I need to get me a Chiefs Hawaiian shirt. I could look like Andy Reid.
Oh, Chiefs Hawaiian shirt and a Waffle House menu.
Well, there you go.
You'd be cosplaying at its finest.
Well, why not?
All right, let's take a break. Those questions will remain open throughout the duration of the show. Text your answers to the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAM. Trey said, would you please post a link to the podcast on social media? I misheard the name of it and didn't see it. Trey, I absolutely will do that, but the pod is going to be called Views from Mint Street. Views from Mint Street. Of course, Mint Street, where the bank is in Charlotte.
By the way, the sweetest logo out of any of the logos of any of the teams that Odyssey is doing podcasts for.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the look and the sound of it. Real happy with it. And you'll get to find out when we drop episode number 1 tomorrow. Let's take a break. Back after this, the Rob Brown Show rolls on. This texter says, I can see Rob mentioning the numbers 28 and 3 multiple times on Falcons broadcast and getting in trouble. I would. Back after this on the Fan Upstate.
Prisma.
We're back stream. Don't go anywhere. All right, dudes and dudettes, we are back. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Good morning. Yeah, it's a good look. It really is a good logo. It's a good look. It's a good logo. The background they made for us is this really dope blue and white picture of the inside of the bank. It's really cool. And also they got Zoe's name right, so that's a plus. Yeah, the first time that they sent it over, they called him Lorenzo Wrightsell. And then the second time they sent it over, they called him Alonzo Wrightsell.
I talked to our Odyssey rep last night about the Lorenzo thing and told him he is now a character on the show. He thought it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
He said, tell me you pulled the audio. I was like, I have it. I just haven't used it yet. Waiting for the right time when I do something really mean, and then I'm just going to throw up the Lorenzo. Yeah, they definitely didn't get my name right at first. The way the guy said it, though, I almost kept it just because, you know. But you don't want to be worldwide using the wrong name. Also, I don't know if it's the fine print in your contract says what it does in mine about appearances. So there may be appearances. And it said appearances. You're probably going to have to wear some Panther gear. I'm just saying because it would, you know.
Again, if I'm okay with it if I'm getting paid for it, right?
I prefer those appearances to be the actual games, but
me too.
You know, yeah, I mean, I'd be down with that. Not saying that won't happen.
I'd be down if they like sent us to do the pod at a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've been in the nosebleeds. I've been on the silver level. I have been in the boxes. I have never been in the press box.
We can make that happen.
Yeah, just because, I mean, I think it's the only place
we can make
that haven't, well, the locker room.
When I went for the Charlotte FC Chelsea match, FC sent us over tickets to go, and they put us up in the middle big open box seats.
Yeah. Yeah, those are nice. We used to go, one of the places my wife used to work, the guy owned one of those or bought one of those boxes every year, and it was fully catered. So you go in, you'd have food, and then in the beginning of the fourth quarter, they bring in sliders and pizza on top of all the other food. One of the times we were there, they were playing the Jets, and my wife was making fun of the guy in the next booth, and it was Woody, what's his name? I forget the owner.
Wilder?
No, the owner of the Jets or the general manager or something. I can't remember. I think it was Woody something.
Woody Johnson? No.
Probably.
Yeah, that's right.
He was getting all mad and he was yelling and Lisa's doing this stuff to him. And I'm like, you know who that is? She's like, I don't care. Those boxes are cool because you can stay inside the box and eat and stuff, and then they have their own little amount of seats out front that you can walk out and sit in the seats.
The Rob Brown Show back under radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. I am Rob. He is the great Malonzo. Good to have you. Phone lines open, 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. The day after Baker Mayfield was shockingly named the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
No one saw that. Baker!
So Baker gets named the starter, and he comes out the next day for practice, and it did not go well for number 6. The Panthers put an end to the quarterback competition of a lifetime, ladies and gentlemen, between Baker and Sam. officially announced that number 6 would be under center to start. And then Baker came out for practice yesterday and was off. The whole offense was off, which is unfortunate going into this final preseason game. David Newton of ESPN reported that early in the practice, Baker Mayfield got picked sixth by J.C. Horn. He called it a, quote, rough day for Panthers starter, end quote. He also went on to say that Matt Rule, on at least one occasion, stopped practice to chew out the team. Matt Rule stopped practice to get up in the team's business because of how poor they were playing. Said that the defense jumped offside, so the J.C. Horn pick six did come back, which don't let that happen in a regular season game. Said that shortly after that, Baker Mayfield fumbled a snap. The Carolina Blitz Twitter handle said that practice was supposed to be over at 4:15. They went until 5 o'clock because the team was performing so poorly that Matt Rule kept extending the practice, ended up being 45 minutes longer than it was scheduled to go. Mayfield, after the practice, said, quote, a lot of different situational stuff that Matt threw at us, and also we were trying to get some extra conditioning in, just doing longer sets of plays. You know, there's good and bad like every day in practice. We're going to go back and watch the film and try to improve. There's always room for improvement. Now, I saw a lot of Panthers fans on social media that were like, uh-oh, time to panic. Guys, we talking about practice. We talking about practice, not a game, not the game we know and love. We talking about practice. You're going to have a bad practice. That's why you practice.
You know, there's also the fact that when you're practicing against each other, you know, tendencies and things like that, especially on the defensive side, you're really going to understand what the offense is, and you're going to be able to jump in and get interceptions and things like that. That's why the joint practices are always more productive than especially this part of the season, than practicing against each other.
Yeah. I mean, first off, Baker's going up against the defense that's expected to carry this team, right? Like, we know the offense should score points. We know they got the playmakers, Morton, Anderson, McCaffrey, Baker under center, Chuba Hubbard is the power back. Offensive line should be better this year. After Icky got named starting left tackle, Christensen's going to get named left guard. Left side of that line is going to be dramatically better, which means Baker is going to be looking at the blind side when he drops back to pass, looking at the weak side of the OA when he drops back to pass, which is going to be on the right-hand side, right? But this team will be better offensively. But the defense is still going to have to be the heart and soul of this team and have to be more consistent than they were last year. The optimistic, the silver lining, the blue and silver lining of this, the blue and silver lining of this is that the defense is looking good, which you have to have it look good. You need it to look good. It needs to look good. And based on what we heard yesterday, it looks like they do. Offensively, yeah, Texter said, sounds like more of a win for the defense to me. Yeah, 100%. Listen, this offense is going to be better. That is not to say Carolina's going to be threatening for top 5 offense in the league.
All right, so if you go back to the last preseason game, and yeah, some starters weren't in there, and the defense. Well, no, actually, the first preseason game, the defense got a pick on the Washington Commanders side and got an easy touchdown for Sam Darnold. So you want to see the defense do that. You want J.C. Horn picking people off right and left. Yeah, I get you don't really want him picking off your own quarterback, but again, you know the tendencies, you know what those things are. I agree with the texter. It's a win for the defense.
I got to show you something you're genuinely going to appreciate, Lonzo. And those of you not watching on the stream at facebook.com/thefanupstate or YouTube, search and subscribe to the Rob Brown Show. I just got a tweet from the CBO of the Greenville Triumph, my man Doug Irwin. Look at this tweet, Lonzo, and tell me that's not absolute perfection. Rob Brown rolling up to the next recording of the podcast, and he's got Rob Lowe, and Rob showed up to the NFL game in an NFL hat. Not a team hat. Not repping one of the teams. Rob Lowe in the game, at a game, in just the black hat with the NFL logo on it and nothing else. That, Doug, is fantastic work. That's fantastic work.
Don't be going and buying NFL. I don't think you can buy that.
Immediate thought was, yup, gotta get that hat now.
You know what? All you got to do is wear your work shirt. It's the same color.
It is. The blue fan upstate polo would work just
and
fine.
you just saying that you're repping the station you work at.
No, listen, I don't mind.
It's not. I don't think Panthers gear is going to burn your skin.
No, it's not. And again, it's one thing if you like. For instance, I've got a buddy. All right, I went to school with this guy. I went to school with this buddy, and then he married a girl who is an alum of the rival school. Right. He's an alum of the rival school. And when they got married, about 2-3 years into their marriage, he would still wear the logo of our school, but every now and then a picture of him would show up on the internet wearing the color and logo of the rival, right? And one day he got called out by the frat bros. Was like, dude, what are you doing wearing that color? What are you doing wearing that color? And his response was, well, we have kids and we're trying to raise them so that they know it's their decision as to whose school they want to be a fan of. We're like, yeah, but what's that got to do with you wearing that color, right? What's it got to do with you wearing the rival logo? You didn't go to school there. He's like, right, but my wife did. And? That's a different situation, right? I'm getting paid to do it. It is literally a part of my job, right? That dude was just like, yeah, I'll rock the Rivals logo because my wife went to school there. And so what? Well, she wears our colors too. Yeah, okay, then I'm judging her as well, right? I'm judging her too. You're rocking the logo. You're not getting paid for it. You're just doing it, right? That's a different scenario, I think.
Did she require him to wear it, or did he do it on his own?
I don't know. He never told us.
Because in some relationships, one person requires and the other one says, yes, dear. It does happen that way.
I'll tell you this. The lady friend is a gamecock, right? There's no secrets from Rob Brown. My life's an open book for you guys, which is a terrible idea, but it is. The lady friend is a gamecock.
Yeah, I think you need to throw avid in there.
She is an avid gamecock.
You absolutely have to throw avid in there.
She is an avid gamecock. She buys me tickets to go to South Carolina games, right? She buys me. I don't go to South Carolina on a press pass and bring her. She buys me tickets to go see the Gamecocks play. And of course I'm going to go. It's college football, right? If somebody buys me Clemson tickets, I'll see y'all at Death Valley. I'm in, right? She buys me. So I don't wear the Gamecocks logo, but I don't mind wearing a black shirt to a game or a garnet shirt to a game. If somebody buys me a Clemson ticket and takes me to a game, I don't mind wearing an orange shirt or purple. I don't know that I'll wear the logo of either team, but I don't mind wearing an orange shirt or a purple shirt to a Clemson game if I'm going with Clemson people who have bought me a ticket, right? But if she ever came to me and was like, you have to wear the Gamecock logo. No, I don't. I absolutely don't. And while I certainly don't mind doing things, right? While I certainly don't mind doing things that may be against the fandom to make her happy, I don't have to do anything.
Would you sleep in a bed with the Rivals blankets and pillowcases and
Are there grown adults that have like Clemson or Gamecock sheets?
Why not?
That's not a grown adult thing to do.
Don't do that. Again, it's your fandom. If you want to do that, go ahead. I mean, if you have cartoon characters on your blankets, I don't care. I have a couple of those. They're really cozy.
No, I'm not talking about couch blankets. I'm talking about
okay.
bed.
All right. Okay.
I'm not talking about couch blankets. I've got logo couch blankets. I got a Saint Snuggie. No joke. I got a Saint Snuggie. And it's the greatest thing I've ever owned.
Is it kind with the hood or is it not?
No hood. No, because the Snuggie goes on the front. Okay. The Huggie's a backwards row, right? The Snuggie goes on around in front of you, but it's got sleeves with armholes. That way I can drink my beer but still stay under the blanket entirely. The Snuggie is amazing. And I got a Saint Snuggie. I'm not judging like couch blankets.
Okay, all right.
Decorative blankets. I'm saying
I never thought of them as couch blankets, but you're right. That's what they are. That's
if
what
I
they
roll
are.
up into your house and you've got a Clemson bedspread,
It's what us old people need when we go home because it's drafty.
right. Right. If you refer to it as an Afghan, it's fine to have a logo on it. If it hangs over the back of your couch, that's decorative. I got no problem.
Yeah,
with that.
okay, all right.
If I roll up to your house and you've got a Clemson bedspread or a Gamecocks bedspread, be like, that's a little much.
I'm not judging because I'm sure there are a lot of listeners right now who have orange all over their house.
Do any, I said
including the bedroom, all over the house. The bedroom is not excluded from all over the house.
Do any of you, and I am going to, because this show is woke and all inclusive. I'm going to make the lady listeners the preeminent portion to this conversation.
So now immediately you're saying that the guys don't do the decorating in rooms or something.
No,
that's
let
what
me finish my question.
All right, fine.
Here's my question. Number one, I'll start with the open one for everybody. Number one, do any of you have a Clemson bedspread? I'm talking blanket on your bed, like the blanket you sleep under, or a Gamecock bedspread, or a Panther bedspread. Do any of you, as adults, have a sports-themed bedspread? Right? I think we all have to ditch that when we're like 18. Number two, ladies, because while the men, like I have input in what goes on the wall at our house, right? Like in our living room, there is one wall, Lonzo, that is just because of my idea, which the lady friend and I have agreed on. One wall in my house in the living room is she has an acoustic guitar, I have an acoustic guitar, and then we have posters of all the concerts we've been to together. Alan Jackson, James Taylor, et cetera, et cetera. Willie Nelson, we have concert posters. Every time we go to a show together, we get a poster, we frame them, we hang them on the wall. Because music was the first conversation we had together, right? Like our relationship was founded on music. So all the concerts we go to, the posters are hanging on the wall. But ultimately, and I am 100% fine with this, ultimately, what goes in the house as decorations, her call. Frankly, because I don't care all that much. I've got my one room, whatever I want goes on the wall. The rest of the house, I don't care. I may propose something like, hey, I really like this picture, can we put it up? And if she says no, it's a no. Then that's okay with me. I'm good with that.
Well, then why are you trying to be hypercritical about the bedroom then? Because you said you have no problem with whatever. If she decides, man, I hope she's listening. If she decides to go full on Gamecocks in the bedroom.
No, I'm not for that. It's too much. It's too much, right? There are times and places.
If a blanket's warm, it doesn't matter what's on it, especially when you're cold.
I don't know, man. So let me throw out question number two. Question number one.
People living in the streets without a blanket.
Well, then they ain't got a bed to have a bedspread, do they, Lonzo? Listen to my question. Number one, do any of you have a sports-themed bedspread? Right? Not decorations, bedspread. Number two, for the ladies, would you allow, if he asked the man in your life or let's say your significant other, right? We're all inclusive here. Ladies, if your significant other, fellas, if your significant other says, I want a Gamecock bedspread, you found a keeper, all right? You found the sports unicorn. But, ladies, if your significant other said, I would like a football bedspread, are you good with that? Are you good with that? And number three, ladies, if you went over to a fella's house for a little cake, for a little loving, for a little snuggle, and you rolled up into his bedroom and he had a football-themed bedspread, are you going through with it? Right? Or is that a decision changer? I suspect it is for a lot of women. Not all of them, for a lot of women.
I went home today and my wife had changed the entire bedroom to nothing but Buckeye stuff. First of all, I would not be surprised, and I wouldn't go, Rob said that I can't sleep in this bed because I'm older than 18. No, I'd be like, this looks sweet.
And let me be clear to the guys and gals on the stream right now. Skrilla said, I have a UGA Snuggie. Does that count? I'm not talking about couch blankets. A Snuggie's a couch blanket, right? If you're hanging on the couch and you got a Buckeye blanket or a Gamecock or Tiger, that's fine. That's a decorative blanket. I'm good. I'm talking about on your actual bed where you sleep, where you conduct your adult activities, right? Trey says there's nothing wrong with having a fleece blanket. Fleece blankets are couch blankets. They're not, I'm talking about your comforter, your bedspread, what goes on your bed.
I don't know, man. A Panther blanket I just got as a Sherpa. Good shot.
Those are comfortable.
Good
those
shot.
Are real comfortable.
And it's over 6 feet.
Yeah, those are
which means the feet are not sticking out the bottom. So
Texter says Lorenzo's in the Panther jersey. Today must be that day at the Zoe residence. No, we got our podcast today. Texter said, so you're saying my race car bed is a deal breaker? God, I wish that was a true text. Back after this on the
As
Rob
long
Brown
as you're
Show.
not a drag racer, because it's over pretty quick, I think.
Lonzo for the win! Back after this on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. That's a line from Zoe.
That wasn't Alonzo. That was Lorenzo.
That was Lorenzo.
Lorenzo in the house.
That was Lorenzo.
Don't let Rob shame you. If you have a full-on team bedroom, I think that's awesome. All right, come on, Keegan. This is when you know you're having fun on a show. I had no idea what time it was till I just looked. Oh, it's 9:45. All right, I did know a few minutes ago because I was, never mind. I lost track of time.
Uh-oh, there's a UFO/Bigfoot discussion going on WORD right now. The Lorenzo influence spreads. The Lorenzo effect.
I do have to say, I've never had the discussion with Tara before, so I am curious about where she stands on that sort of thing. I'm going to have to bring that up with her next time I see her. You're not hitting up the text line and trying to cause problems with the UFOs.
I never replied to their text.
Okay, all right.
I never replied to their text. I want to
No,
lot.
no, not a reply. I thought you were just sending in your own text.
No, not at all. Not at all.
It's real easy to do because people don't check numbers like they should. Although when Charlie directly responds to the text line on the air, he calls out their last four numbers, so the people know specifically that they're talking.
I assume if
it also lets them know.
They
It also lets them know, hey, we have your number. So if you're getting too mean or something or threaten, I think it's kind of a clever way to do it. I really love my chapter title for the last segment. Rob says it's not okay to have a team-themed bedroom. Same here, Josh, because, I got tired of someone stealing my blanket. So eventually, and we also have adjustable beds. So if you have an adjustable bed and you're sleeping more up and your wife is sleeping more down, it's going to make it rough to have the same blanket. So what if like one side is team themed and the other side is like flowers and stuff? Is it okay to have a half bedroom that way, Rob? It's not a full bedroom. It's only a half bedroom.
No, you got like a football decoration hanging in your bedroom. I'm good with that, right? Let's see. In fact, we had a text about that. Text says, my wife allowed me to put a Panthers keep pounding sign above our headboard. She's the best. That's such a great text.
So the question is, do you really believe that?
Nope.
So I made the mistake when I was on Mark's show the other day of responding to a Clemson fan about something that they said.
Yep.
And now I'm stuck in this argument back and forth between a Clemson fan and a Carolina fan. I don't want to be on it anymore. Is there a way that I can get myself out of this conversation?
Yeah, if you go to the button on the right-hand side of the tweet, like the three-dot button, there's a mute this conversation button that you can click and it'll stop.
Oh, cool. I'm going to have to do that.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. The question stays on the table. Is it okay to wear a rival's gear, and what stipulation has to be attached? Is it okay to wear a rival's gear if you're getting paid for it? Is it okay to wear a rival's gear if you are married to someone who is a fan of the rival and you're just trying to share the love? Is it okay to wear a rival's gear in any situation should you either be true or don't? We got a poll up on Twitter. You can go to twitter.com/thefanupstate and respond to that poll. Question is it okay to wear a rival's gear, and under what condition? If you're getting paid for it, if your significant other is a fan of the rival and you've got a little friendly rivalry going on, is it okay to wear your rival's gear? And if so, under what condition?
By the way, 3 votes so far. All 3 things got votes. It's probably changed by the time you look at it.
The 3 options are yes, make that money. Ask the question, is it okay to wear a rival's gear if you're getting paid for it? Yes, make that money. No, be true or don't. And maybe how many zeros, right? Yes, make that money. No, be true or don't. Or maybe how many zeros. And as of right now, we've got 4 votes. 1 for yes, make that money. 1 for maybe how many zeros. And 2 for no, be true or don't. So go to Twitter, twitter.com/thefanupstate.
And Mark Ryan voted twice on that. He found a way to vote twice.
I don't know, man. Like I said, I mean, listen, he's in the same situation I am, right? Like, he's a Gator fan, a proud Gator fan, an established Gator fan, but he wore Clemson gear to host their post-game show for a while.
He is an alt Gator fan.
A 90s Gator fan, bro.
No, alt-right, alt-left, alt-Gator. Yeah, I mean,
a neo-Gator.
Yeah, there we go. He did, and I have to say that somebody kind of said something to him about that multiple times and got talkings to about it. I don't know who that someone might be. And you know what?
A lot of indirect references on the show today.
You know what? And that somebody just kept on doing it anyway.
A lot of indirect references
just to let you know,
friends on the show today.
Lorenzo was around long before you heard the name.
Yeah. I'm aware. All right. I really want to read that text that I read during the break on the stream. All right, I've gotten the blessing. Texter says, Rob, my wife allowed me to put a Panthers keep pounding sign above our headboard. She's the best. And I've never said I hope my mom's not listening to the show right now, but I hope my mom's not listening to the show right now.
It's just a team motto. I don't. Yeah. I mean, you know.
Keep pounding. I love it. One more text that says, yes, Rob, make that money. I love it. All right. Your thoughts. When we come back here in just a minute, we got some more Carolina stuff, including the Manning Award watch list, best quarterback in college football. 30 names on that list. And one of the two quarterbacks in our region did not make it. Who was it? I'll tell you when we come back. Rob Alonzo, you this. Here's the fan upstate. Mom said she is listening and she's not impressed.
I just want to say I apologize. Rob's a bad influence.
Rob Renzo. Is it okay to wear a Panthers jersey if I have Cam? I'm sure there are other examples with other teams, but I always wonder if I look dumb wearing the number 1 with the Newton on the back after how things ended. I normally wear Sam's Mills, but it's gigantic in the the Newton jersey looks better. I got no issue with that because regardless of how it ended, Cam Newton was the Panthers, right? Like the Panthers' success, the most successful era of the Panthers happened because of Cam Newton, right? With Cam at the helm. I got no problem with it. I will tell you when I would say it's not okay to wear a particular player's jersey, right? It would be if that player is currently playing for a rival, right? Like and the best example I have for me personally is when Bobby Hebert, who was my favorite quarterback as a kid for the Saints, Bobby Hebert left New Orleans and played for Atlanta, right? Now, if I was a grown-up at the time and I owned a Bobby Hebert Saints jersey, I'd put it away. I would not wear it while he was playing for Atlanta, but post his retirement, I'd bring it back out. I would have it back out. So I don't know. But I'd say you're fine with that, Luke. I'd say you're fine with that. That being said, Sam Mills is one of my favorite NFL players of all time. That was just a good dude. Keegan said instead of Enzo and Cass, it's Lorenzo and Brown.
I gotta say, Keegan, that take was soft. SAWFT. I'm not gonna yell because I gotta save my voice.
And you can teach that.
Luke's enjoying your haircut.
Thanks, man. All my best assets are from my eyes up, so I gotta try, is what it comes down to.
All right.
Somebody called me. Somebody said I have Bruce Willis's haircut from the Fifth Element.
I'm just going to continue to say you used to be on Home Improvement, but that's just me.
Yeah, if I I gotta product down the part to keep it all on one side of the head. If I don't put product down the part, it parts down the middle and falls on both sides, and it's very JTT circa 1995. You're exactly right.
They did that to that dude on purpose.
Bro, I was in elementary and high school.
By the way, I have to say, a certain person who's close to me used to have that haircut for a long period of time. He's on a show with me on Saturday nights and might be related. That's all I'm saying.
It's Gary Oldman, not Bruce Willis.
Oh, okay. Now I get it, because I think Bruce was pretty much bald there, like he has been forever. The weird part is going back and seeing Bruce Willis with some hair.
Here you go. There's what we're talking about. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's
it's not there yet, but it could be.
If I all the way shaved this down, it would be. If I shaved this,
can you do Gary Oldman's accent from that movie though? That was so weird.
No, I could not.
Well, the movie itself was weird.
If I shaved except for the soul patch and shaved this side, it would. In fact, that might be a Halloween costume in the making. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm trying to remember, what was Chris Tucker's hair like? There it is. There it is. There it is. I see it. It's down at the bottom. I've always wanted to do the flock of seagulls thing. You know, have you seen the flock of seagulls hair where it's my hair's too long though. Or the thing where they spike it all the way up. I always wanted to try that, but from what I understand, that's really hard to do.
I told Courtney when I'm ready, I'm letting it grow back out, but when I'm ready to cut my hair, I'm gonna do Liberty spikes one day before I do it.
It's gonna be hard for headphones, but still, it would be a lot of fun.
It'd be like a weekend thing. It'd be like go downtown just to see what people say to me. Look, like,
what, you walk around going, what? What you looking at?
Yeah, if I shave the beard, left the soul patch, and shave the side of my head, that's a potential Halloween costume going on right now.
Just saw a tweet.
Keegan said, with that haircut and shirt, you look like a non-denominational worship leader.
He needs an acoustic guitar, though.
Yeah.
And I think he needs his glasses on, too. You got to have your glasses on.
The thick frame glasses?
Yeah, you got to have that, too. QC in the first break.
Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Good morning, America. What's up, world? Great to be back with y'all. I am Rob Brown, the Wizard of Wave. Lonzo is on the other side of the metaphorical glass today. You guys are reacting, and I love it. I love it. Bring it. Bring it to the show. You guys are also host of the show. What you say gets read, gets talked about. I asked the question.
All right. Gets read. Some of it gets said.
Some of it gets read. No, all of them get read. Some of them out loud. Let's put it that way. I asked the question, is it okay to wear a rival's gear if you're getting paid for it? I put that up about 15 minutes ago. Got 12 votes so far. We have a two-way tie between yes, make that money, and maybe how many zeros. Two-way tie between the two that allow it to happen. That's interesting to me. I honestly thought I was going to get run for that. But so far, Twitter says that it's okay as long as you're making money.
I think there's also a part of it that you're fairly well liked, so they're just being nice to you.
Maybe.
It could be.
Maybe. Dexter says, Rob, how do you feel about still rocking a Patriots Brady jersey while he's with the Bucs? I'm actually okay with that one. Specific instance, that is the exception, not the rule. I don't have a problem with that one because, and maybe this is just me being a Brady softie. To me, Brady's not with New England because of New England, not because of Brady, right? I don't think Brady's with New England anymore because of New England's front office and because of Bill, not because Tom didn't want to be there anymore. So if you're a Patriots fan and you still have allegiance to Tom Brady, I got no problem with that.
Could we have a show without that name being mentioned? Is that possible? I mean, is there some law that says Tom Brady has to be mentioned on every single show?
Possible?
Well, why is that?
Is it possible? Yes.
He don't even show up half the time.
Is it probable? No. Can't have an NFL discussion without Tom Brady. If you have an NFL discussion that involves quarterbacks, You have to bring Brady into it. Like, for instance, Sammy Watkins said Aaron Rodgers is on a, quote, whole nother level, end quote, above Patrick Mahomes right now.
He meant, metaphysically.
I gotcha. Spiritually.
Yeah. He meant, yeah.
It's because of the mushrooms, man.
It's the shrooms, dude.
Bro. Sammy Watkins says A-Rod of the football persuasion is on a, quote, whole nother level, end quote, over Patty Ice.
Should Chiefs fans be offended by that? Because I don't think so. Aaron Rodgers is a veteran, been around a long time. There's some things that Aaron Rodgers can do and have done that Patrick Mahomes hasn't done yet. They're not in the same place in their career.
Back-to-back conference MVPs, which the list is incredibly short. It's basically A-Rod. Right? And Brady. I got no problem
Is
with
it another one of those cases that's my quarterback,
That's
man?
my quarterback, man.
So while you're there.
I mean, of course it is. It's like when Tyreek Hill had the absolute far side level of absurdity take that Tua Tagovailoa is more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. GTFO, bro. Stop it. You know that's not true. I know that's not true. Yes, there is a wide receiver is almost always going to be more complimentary of his quarterback than anybody else. Of course that's true. But I also don't have a problem with the take, right? I really don't. I got no issue with it. Patty Mahomes has been very fortunate to have exceptional wide receiver crews, whereas I think Aaron Rodgers traditionally has had exceptional wide receivers.
Here's what it is. Sammy Watkins is looking around going, I'm going to get targeted more than I did in Kansas City. So I'm going to be real nice to Aaron so he knows I'm out here. I'm the veteran on the receiving core here, probably the only veteran on the receiving core here. He's going to be throwing the ball my way. So I'm going to be extra nice to Aaron.
I mean, sure. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But that doesn't make the take wrong either. For the record, big Patrick Mahomes fan am I. Not a Chiefs guy. But if you're telling me you don't like watching Patrick Mahomes play, I got nothing for you. I love watching the guy play, right? He's incredibly talented. But Aaron Rodgers is on a different level. Aaron Rodgers is on a different level. And by the way, I like watching Aaron Rodgers play. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of the guy in the world, like as a person, but I like watching him play. He is on a different level from Patrick Mahomes. And that's not to say Mahomes can't get to that level. That's not to say Mahomes won't be on that level eventually. Mahomes has gone to Super Bowls with an S. A-Rod hasn't won one since, what year did they win it? 2011? And A-Rod hasn't been able to finish the job since then? Now, I will say this. I kind of hate the so-and-so hasn't won the Super Bowl since. Well, yeah, only one guy can win it every year.
By the way, I know it's preseason, and I'm not sure who's playing tomorrow, but Kansas City's playing Green Bay tomorrow. So let's say, that Patrick Mahomes is out there for a couple series, and he saw that, little remark and wants to prove him wrong. I don't know how he could do that because I believe every time he's been on the field in preseason, he scored a touchdown. So, I mean,
I don't think you're wrong. Listen, it's kind of weird, man, because, it's preseason ball.
It's just it's not the same as the Tyreek Hill thing because
Tyreek was wrong?
Yeah, because this isn't a ridiculous take. It's not. The Tyreek thing, ridiculous.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was dumb. I read that and I'm like, wait, what? You said what now? Tyreek went down to right down to Miami and got into that Scarface life, apparently. No, Reek. Literally no one believes that. Tua Tagovailoa doesn't believe that. All right? Tua's dad doesn't believe that. Absolutely not. This take, I get. And even coming from a guy who has a vested interest in that being true, right? It's not a bad take. Now, if you disagree with it, I disagree with you, but I wouldn't argue, right? I wouldn't be like, oh, no, that's a stupid take. Tyreek's take was stupid. Tyreek's take was very clearly, I don't know, pandering, whatever you want to call it. This take I get. Aaron Rodgers does everything well. Now, there are elements of Patrick Mahomes' game that I think are better than than Aaron Rodgers, right? I think he can get out of the pocket and extend plays better than Aaron Rodgers, but let's not pretend Aaron Rodgers isn't pretty good at that, right? But I think Aaron Rodgers is more accurate with the football. As incredibly accurate as Patrick Mahomes is, I think Aaron is more accurate. I think Aaron has a better read of the game. I think he sees the field better than Patrick Mahomes in terms of the tactics of it, right? Like Patrick Mahomes has thrown some absolute stunt tosses before that were like, what the hell? How did he do that? Lonzo was talking about video yesterday where Mahomes was like running right and threw the ball underhand sideways back across his body and completed a pass. Like, no. That's some dude perfect stuff, man. You shouldn't be able to do that. But Patrick Mahomes can do it. He can get away with it somehow. But Aaron Rodgers very frequently doesn't need to because he sees the play develop better than Patrick Mahomes. And I think Patrick Mahomes can't do as much with less than Aaron. Yes, A-Rod has had some really, really good wide receivers come through, but A-Rod usually has a good receiver and then a bunch of okay receivers, whereas Mahomes has had some really good wide receiver units working around him.
Which is good for him and not his fault. He doesn't have anything to do with that. Also, Patrick Mahomes has the Happy Gilmore effect. So when Happy Gilmore's drive, then they show a bunch of golfers trying to do that same drive. Patrick Mahomes started doing those sidearms and those no-looks, and now a lot of other quarterbacks are trying to imitate him. Aaron Rodgers doesn't do that kind of stuff that he doesn't have to. I'm glad that Patrick Mahomes is capable, but Aaron Rodgers just goes out there and wins.
Yeah.
And so does Patrick Mahomes. I think it's okay to have either one. I just think Sammy Watkins is kissing up to the guy who's going to be throwing him the ball more than he got thrown to in Kansas City.
Yes.
And you know what? If he can stay healthy, which has been a problem with Sammy Watkins his entire career, if he can stay healthy, he'll have a good year probably.
Texas says the only thing Rodgers can't do is take a pay cut to make his team get better and get past the playoffs. LOL. Yeah, Rodgers is making like 14% of the team's payroll by himself this year. Mark Ryan had a really good number yesterday that even I found intriguing, which was that no quarterback to win the Super Bowl has ever made more than 12.8% of the team's salary cap. No quarterback to win the Super Bowl has ever made more than 12.8% of the team's salary cap. The highest salary cap player to ever win a Super Bowl was Peyton Manning, who made 12.8%. Nobody has made more than that of the salary cap and won it. Now, again, I always like to try to put those numbers into the perspective of, right, but only one guy a year can win it. And you have guys that have won it like Brad Johnson, right? Nick Foles won a Super Bowl as a quarterback. Is anybody listing them amongst the Bradys and the Rodgers and the Mahomes? Hell no. Absolutely not. Only one guy can win it. And it only takes one guy to get there. Now, the argument, of course, goes the other way as well. And it's a fair one that if you got a quarterback who's racking up 13, 14, 15% of your team's salary cap by himself, despite the fact that it is a quarterback-driven league, like it or not, you don't have the money to spread around to put more weapons in place around him, right? But if you've got a guy like Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, those guys that are top-tier elite quarterbacks, right? If you've got those guys, you can sacrifice that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7% of the salary cap to give to them because they can make good players look great and great players look Pro Bowl, right?
All right, what was that percentage again?
12.8.
All right, so I just looked it up, and I hate disputing.
Dispute away.
All right, so
because I didn't verify his number.
All right, so I looked up top 5 paid quarterbacks who won a Super Bowl. Steve Young, 13.8%. Peyton Manning, 12.21%.
In the year that they won the Super Bowl?
Yes. Tom Brady, 11.82, which is below the number that he said. Eli Manning, 11.75. Brett Favre, 10.2.
So there's only one.
So what was the original number?
12.8%.
No, there's two. That would be Peyton Manning and Steve Young.
Peyton was 12.8%, right?
12.21.
That's below 12.8.
Oh, I thought you said.
Yeah, 12.8.
Yeah.
So there's one. So Steve Young.
What was
his
number?
Was
it 12.08?
No, 12.8.
Okay.
12.8 on the dot. Sorry.
All right, so it's Steve Young.
So Steve Young, and his percentage was what?
13.8.
13.8. All right, so 13.8 would be the number. But there's only one of those guys. So I still think the argument's justified, right? I still think I'm not saying I agree with it because again, this is the question that I like to ask.
This is a way to, and I think we don't talk politics. I think politics and certain opinions about people come into play, and you will nitpick. I'm not saying you, but people will nitpick and find reasons to come at somebody and find a stat or something to make them look bad.
Wait a minute. There's two other quarterbacks in this group, though. It's not A-Rod by himself.
So Aaron Rodgers, all he's done is win MVPs, and yes, he hasn't won a Super Bowl. You know who else hasn't won a Super Bowl? A lot of quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, I agree, but the number still stands. But the reason it got brought up is Mark was trying to say we can eliminate 3 quarterbacks from contention based on that number. Aaron Rodgers is one of them, right? But the other 2 are, and by the way, I don't need to bring Aaron Rodgers' politics into it to say Aaron Rodgers making 14+% of his team's income is the reason that the best wide receivers he have are Sammy Watkins.
All right, so even when Aaron Rodgers was making the least amount of money, did he have a really good receiving core then? No, he didn't.
He's had better than he has now.
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with the money he's making. This has to do with how the team is handled. They go out and they draft a backup quarterback who can't play apparently. I mean, can't play because he's not any good. When you could have gotten him a receiver on a rookie contract. And you have the money to do that. This is on the team. It's not on him.
No. It is on him because in demanding the salary that he demanded, which he did demand, we know that. In demanding the salary that he demanded, the team had to prepare itself in case he did decide to walk. And Jordan Love was the way to go. Part of the reason, and listen, I'm not saying the team isn't at fault in the way they're handling this, because to some degree they are, but I put half of it at A-Rod too. If A-Rod's not demanding the salary that he was demanding, if he wasn't threatening a holdout to get that money, they don't have to get Jordan Love. Because they're going, okay, A-Rod's here, we can put that money into wide receiver. Because what happens if they go draft a wide receiver and they bring a wide receiver in, and now that was allegedly Aaron Rodgers' biggest gripe. But let's say they go draft a wide receiver. And then A-Rod still demands that money, and they go, yo, we can't give you all that because we're giving it to this rookie wide receiver. And A-Rod goes, deuces, I'm out. Well, now what do you have? You got a great wide receiver, and who is the backup?
All right.
Jordan Love's not there anymore.
If you work somewhere, and the history of that place is they never get you help, and so you know they're not going to get you help, but they're willing to pay you more money, you go take the money. Because if you try to take less, thinking that they're going to bring people in to help you, and history shows they have not, why would you do that? You wouldn't do that. There's no way. You look and go, okay, if I take less money, will they bring me in help? No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to bring me in help. I might as well take the money.
I don't disagree. Or you could go, I can get that money and help somewhere else, which A-Rod threatened, right? The point is, I think it's 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 spot. This has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers as a person. This has everything to do with Aaron Rodgers as a football team. I know you, with all due respect, I think there's some degree of, Rob's attacking him because he's anti-vaxxer.
By the way, Rob,
nothing to do with it.
You started out talking about this saying that Mark Ryan brought this up.
100%.
And when I said this has nothing to do with you, it has nothing to do with you because you didn't bring it. You're not the one who brought the stat and talked about it.
Right.
He did.
That's fair.
And if he wants to discuss it further, I'll be on the show like Thursday. So I mean, there's that. But so I was not coming at you, and there are a lot of people who come at him, and it does have to do with that. But as far as that goes, if I look at the history of what this team is doing for me, and they're not bringing me help anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and take the money.
I get it. But
and you know what? I'm going to take the money, and since I'm an exceptional quarterback, better than Patrick Mahomes, apparently, according to Sammy Watkins, I'm going to prove that I can win even with these guys that they're giving me.
But again, the flip side, I think, holds water that I can't go get you help if you're demanding 15-16% of the salary cap. I don't have the extra couple of million.
I get your argument. I get your argument, and you're right. But they weren't going to get him help anyway.
You don't know that.
History proves that they won't.
He literally has had with wide receiver help in the past. He's literally had better wide receiver
like
cores
who?
Under this team.
Like who? I mean, there's just you got to look it up. That's what I'm saying. Other teams, you don't have to look it up.
I get it. I get it. I go back to kind of finish the point I was going for there, right? Go back to and yeah, I'm going to use my own quarterback, but it's because I can make it the best example. During the Super Bowl run, Drew Brees had Marcus Colston, the quiet storm, 7th-round draft pick out of Hofstra, which you all know only because he was the 7th-round pick out of Hofstra that went on to have what I consider a Hall of Fame caliber career.
I still don't know who he is, but you just mentioned his name. This is the first time that
you've heard of him since they won the Super Bowl, because he doesn't talk.
Or even then, because
Marcus Colston was the 7th-round pick out of Hofstra, who I think had a Super Bowl, or obviously won a Super Bowl, but had a Hall of Fame caliber career. Name me another wide receiver that Drew Brees had on that team, just in that era. Can you do it? Most people can't, right? Lance Moore was one. Most people only know Lance Moore because he's the one that had the 2-point conversion in the Super Bowl that effectively kept the Saints in that game to give them the onside kick opportunity. Robert Meacham was a wide receiver out of Tennessee that basically had success under Drew Brees and nowhere else, right? Name me the other wide receivers. You can't, because Brees didn't have great wide receivers. He made good wide receivers great, and a great Hall of Famer, Marcus Colston, looked like a Hall of Famer.
I thought Robert Meacham was the guy who had that commercial with "Knock the battery off my shoulder, I dare you." That wasn't Robert Meacham?
No, that was not Robert Meacham. But that's the point, right? And Aaron Rodgers has done that for years, but he's at the point now where he's like, yo, I'm at the end of my career, right? My dude's in his mid-30s. Basically, the only guys who make it to 40 are Tom Brady and nobody else. I'm at the end of my career. I got a couple more years left. I'm going to stack paper while I can stack paper. And I get it. Other point, Texter just nailed it. Quote, Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer, and he knows that, so he could probably care less about another Super Bowl when his legacy is already solidified. I don't know. I mean, maybe. Here's what I'll say. I have never really heard, and I don't listen to every Aaron Rodgers interview, but I have never heard Aaron Rodgers talk about winning the Super Bowl like other quarterbacks do, right? Tom Brady very frequently talks about our goal is the Super Bowl. Drew Brees did. Peyton Manning did. All the greats do. I can't really say that I've ever heard Aaron Rodgers wax poetic about a Lombardi like the rest of the greats do. But it's also the twilight of his career. Maybe he is past it. I don't know.
Until recently, he didn't really talk to the media that much.
That's also true.
He started going on McAfee's show, and he started getting some of his personality. But before that, he just didn't really, he stayed aloof.
Fair enough. All right. What's your thoughts on that? 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. You can also text the radio broadcast on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. 71307. Start your text with FAN. I got people asking me, like, why are you talking about Aaron Rodgers? Because it's interesting.
Well, there's a local tie because Sammy Watkins used to play for the that team up the road.
That team up the road?
Yeah, and so that makes it a local tie and kind of a local story.
What does Clemson? What do you have to get paid to put on a Clemson Tiger Paw? Like, honest number. What do you have to get paid to put on a Tiger Paw?
I won't.
$5K a month?
No, I won't.
You want to? There's no amount.
Just like I won't get on a plane.
There's no amount of money.
All right, I've done it before, by the way, but it was a lost bet. That's the only way I would do it. Lost bet.
There is no amount of money that would get you to put on Tiger Paw. I don't believe you.
Only way I do it is if I lose a bet. That's the only way.
Miss Lisa, if you are listening, what amount of money does Lonzo have to get paid for you to tell him you're putting on the Tiger Paw?
She wouldn't. Her disdain is more than mine.
Fair. I honestly don't know. You know, I'm going to text a lady friend and ask her the question. What amount of money would I have to bring home per month to make it worth your while for me to wear the Tiger Paw? Right? Now, again, that is not the catch-all. If I get paid to wear it, I'll wear it.
When you spend 25 years on the air, as I have, on a couple different radio stations, slamming that team, what a betrayal that would be. So no, you can't.
Dude, I've been slamming the Falcons my entire life, but if there's, $5K a month in me putting on the jersey, I'm doing it.
I lost those bets like 10, 15 years ago, and it's still in my memory, and it still hurts.
So we are putting the "Wear Your Most Hated" logo into the punishment box.
You could do that. You could absolutely do that. That's like I said. If I lose a bet, I'll do it.
Fair
if
enough.
it's an agreed upon bet. But if there's money involved, I don't need that.
You gotta go out. You can't just sit in the studio with it. You gotta go out somewhere. We gotta go walk around the mall with it.
Have you ever even been to the mall?
I have the Haywood Mall frequently.
All right.
In fact, that may be where I go after the show to pick up gear because there's a really good sports memorabilia shop in there, like a really good sports memorabilia shop.
All right, so if you're getting paid to do something, do you want to spend extra money on what you buy, or do you want to go to the place where you can get the cheapest gear you possibly can get?
No, because the design on cheap gear is bad. In fact, I want to, you know what? Since we're making this a sportswear show, welcome to the Fabletics show. The San Francisco Giants fans have a real problem with Nike right now over some stuff they've put out, and I have a problem with Nike too, and the design of some of their gear, some of their looks. I'll bring that up coming up. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, stream doing a read. All right, we're back.
There's a problem, Steven. I'm not sure he's seen it yet. Did you go see it? He still hasn't seen it, so he has no idea what you're talking about. But you're right. And it really would bother him if he knew who that character is and the actor that plays that character.
I mean, I'm assuming it's Miles Teller.
It is. Steven says it's on streaming now. So you could actually go home and watch it.
It's on what now? What service is it on? Courtney and I both want to watch it. We just haven't gotten a
I
chance
think
yet.
it might be on demand. I'm not sure if it's actually on any servers yet. Last I saw, it was still in theaters too, because they're trying to break some records,
Yeah.
which they are steadily doing.
So while we're talking team gear today, found this interesting. I know DA was talking about it. By the way, shout out to Don Munson, voice of the Tigers, who was on the DA show this morning. And I kind of loved, Lonzo, I kind of loved that obviously DA asked Don about DJ. And he's like, yeah, he was disappointing last year. What changes have you seen? And Don was like, well, you know, he came in, he lost 30 to 40 pounds. And DA was like, oh, gasp, I haven't heard that before. I was like, we have. Right here on this show, like 4 weeks ago, we heard that. Ladies and gentlemen, cutting edge of broadcasting. All right, let's talk team gear for a second. So I got a lot of gear of my teams, primarily the Saints, adding to the Panthers today. I got Hurricanes gear. I got Predators gear. I've got shirts in the colors of Carolina and Clemson for when I cover those teams, right? I got a lot of team gear. I don't own any team gear that I hate, right? You asked earlier, like, why don't you just grab a couple of cheap T-shirts? And the answer is because ordinarily, cheap t-shirts have they just don't have good looks to them, right? It's not a good look. I want my team gear to look good. I'm not going to wear a fleur-de-lis on a shirt that I hate for the sake of it. I'll spend a little money to find one that I like.
This might be a little self-centered, but I think I make any shirt look good.
Lorenzo Reitzel, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway.
Yeah, don't fumble because I'm diving.
Laying out. Ball! So for those of you not watching the stream, I spin a football during the segments, which is that sound you hear.
I was going to say, they can hear it.
They can hear it.
Did they think there's something wrong with their radio?
So the San Francisco Giants, the baseball team, rolled out some new gear. And on one of them is a shirt that across the front of it, it just says San Fran with the SF logo underneath it, right? Well, I didn't know this until literally today. But apparently, San Francisco residents despise the nickname San Fran for that city. They hate the nickname San Fran. DA was talking, and the reason this came into my periphery today, and it clued me into another team and another instance I want to talk about. DA was talking about it, and his producers were saying that not terribly long ago, they were in San Francisco for a work event. I don't know what game they were covering or what they were doing, but they were in San Francisco. And they said they got into a conversation with some San Franciscoans in a bar, called the city San Fran, and the guy was like, don't call it that. They were like, what? He said, don't call it that. We hate the name San Fran. Like in San Francisco, it is a cardinal sin to call San Francisco San Francisco. They hate it. It's a what do you call it?
Was there a reason behind it? Did they consider it a slight?
I don't know. They didn't really get into the details, but
we
apparently
don't prefer nicknames here in San Francisco. You must say the entire name.
Speaking of hating a place based on politics.
That was my haughty voice. It had nothing to do with anything else. I mean, I can't recreate yours, so I had to go with, something I saw on TV.
According to Charles Fracchia, Fracchia.
It's Carmine's brother. Think of it that way.
According to Charles, who is the founder of the San Francisco Historical Society, he said, quote, "It is vitally important to call the city San Francisco, not San Fran. Utilizing the full name of any person or place gives it dignity, and I believe San Francisco deserves to be referred to in its full name, though many locals will tell you SF is okay in my experience," end quote.
All right, so the voice I was doing would work perfectly for what you just said because it's exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah, using the full name. So anyway, residents of San Francisco despise San Francisco being called San Fran. They hate it. Well, I don't really care, right? I don't really call it San Fran very often. I have, but I don't do it very often. I don't really care though, right? But San Franciscans hate it. Well, Nike just unloaded boxes of new Giants gear, including multiple shirts that just say San Fran across the front. And the Giants fans are revolting, saying, look, our gear sucks, right? Not only that, but Giants fans hate when the Giants wear all black. They hate when the team wears all black, and all of the gear is all black, including the San Fran shirt, right? So they're very upset about it. The reason I bring this up is not because I care about San Franciscans hating it being called San Fran. The reason I'm bringing it up is this gear is made by Nike, right? And I thought DA had a good point, which is if you are going to design new gear for a team, the very first step you should take is bringing in designers who are fans of the team or from the city, right? Because when you put out bad gear for a team, we all hate it. And I segued that to, we are still waiting to see what uniforms the Team USA American soccer team, male, will be wearing at the World Cup this year, right? What the uniforms are going to look like. Because Rob Brown buys a new World Cup American uniform every year. Every year the jerseys release. Every 4 years when the Americans are in the World Cup, I buy a new World Cup jersey for that year. Well, Nike released, nope, scratch that. Nike has not released what those unis are going to look like yet. But there was a leak of what they might be that went out on social media. The white jerseys are all white. They're basically a t-shirt. They have a light blue collar for some reason. And the only accent to the shirt is about a finger's length and width, red and blue stripe down the sleeve, and the U.S. crest on the front of the jersey. Other than that, solid white. Now, I got no problem with white jerseys. But this one just looks bad. It looks cheap. It looks bad. It looks cheap. The away jersey, the colored jersey for the World Cup, is a neon blue. With black. You remember what acid wash jeans look like? Like which bleach washed jeans look like, where they had like the splotchy pattern to them?
Yeah, they're coming back.
Yeah. It's that, but black. Right? It's that style, that look of pattern, but black underneath the cobalt blue. It looks terrible. It looks like, frankly, it looks like somebody forgot to wash the jerseys, is what it looks like. Now, there's a lot of you that are like, who cares? Who cares what the jerseys look like? I do. Look good, feel good, play good, win good. Right? There is a reason that when Lonzo and I go to pick up trophies, I put on something nice. And I put on something that stands out. Because when I walk into a room and I've got on a black and white paisley jacket, people look and go, who the hell's that guy? And I want them to know. There is a reason that I purchased for this year and will be wearing next year a red sequin covered jacket. Because I would walk in the room and have people like, oh, that guy's here to be noticed. That guy is here to be noticed. I'm not wearing a black suit like everybody else or a blue suit like everybody else. I would have walked in a room and have people go, that guy's here to get noticed. He's here to stand out because I am. And I want my team gear to look the same way. And it reflects on you as a fan base when your team gear is bad. You don't have to like it, but it does. When you roll out to you ever rolled out to a bar with your friends, and one of your friends shows up looking dirty, right? You roll out to the bar, and your friend rolls up in like a wrinkled shirt with stains on it, khaki cargo shorts, flip-flops from the 70s. And it's like, I don't want to judge people based on what they wear, but we all do. And I certainly don't want other people to judge me based on who's around me. When they roll out bad gear for your team and it looks bad, you get made fun of for it. Your team as a whole looks bad. And I don't love it. Give me good looking gear that I can put on and go, this looks good, I look good, the team looks good. Because they are an extension of me, and I am an extension of them. Step one in new gear, let the fans design it, or at least put a fan in charge of designing it so that they use the right stuff. It's one thing to have a bad-looking shirt. It's another thing to ask fans of a team to wear something they hate, like those Team USA jerseys, like these San Fran shirts. Do I care about it? No. Would I ever see a Giants fan wearing a San Fran shirt and think twice about it? No. But they hate it. Give us good gear, man. Give us good gear so we can look good repping the squad. Back after this, I promise you got sports on the way out. Shout out to the texter who said, absolute shout out to Rob and Lonzo, the goats of the airwaves. Shrug. I'll take it. Texter said, uniform, jersey? No thanks. I only buy kits. Stop it. Stop it. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate. Applebee's has rolled out buffalo wing sauce flavored lip gloss. I think it's one of those things I react to negatively, but if I kissed a girl wearing buffalo ranch flavored lip gloss, I'd fall in love with her.
So I'm just trying to figure out what would possess someone to go, I'm feeling some buffalo today. I'm going to go with that.
Big wing fan.
Total top players committing to playing 20 marquee events a year. Some F1 news this morning, as expected. Daniel Ricciardo was leaving McLaren after the season, and the Chicago Sky took their third decisive game from the Liberty, 90-72 in Brooklyn. They'll face the Sun or.
There's no way that's weird. The audio is not matching the wave. That's weird. This is so weird.
Ugh.
I'm gonna clip it. Column on this for CBSSports.com and D-Cell. Even though I wrote it, so we'll incredulous and rebellious.
So I was looking at the clip while I was editing it, and I knew it wasn't it. What it was playing was not the clip that I was looking at, because I could tell it's where the commercials were. I've never seen it do that before. Luckily, I didn't clip it where it was, because it would have just played commercial. That's so weird. My words are not describing how weird it actually was, but that's fine. Gremlins, man. I was extremely glad Monday that Mark's interview with Dick Vermeil was recorded, so I didn't have to talk to that guy again. So scary. Love it. So now, what, I got to do that again for another year? Great. He was also asking when we're going to be, if we're ever going to be able to do an MMA podcast nationally. I was like, well, you never know. If this one's successful, we might be able to do some other stuff, because he would really love to do that. All right, Tim Frisbee, I'm not afraid of them. I was a nervous wreck both times that I had to talk to him. Interviewing, some would say there's not a lot that is my strong suit, but interviewing definitely not a strong suit. And for some reason, shaking, scared talking to him. I asked my questions and got them out, and they weren't dumb, I don't think, because he answered them. But yeah, I'm trying to think there's one other guy that we had a chance to interview that I probably would have been just as nervous, and that was Paul Heyman, and he had to cancel. And I think I would have been just as nervous talking to him. It's scary, man. And by the way, Rob Brown doesn't get scared. So, there's that.
All right, putting a bow on hour number 2. I asked earlier in the show, is it okay to wear a rival's gear if you're getting paid for it? And is it okay to wear a rival's gear if your significant other is a fan of the rival and you're just trying to show some love? Is it okay to wear that gear? Noted South Carolina Gamecock Tim Frisbee responded back to the show and said, all other sports, yes, football, no. I don't even go to Home Depot because it's orange.
Yeah, the Lowe's color is definitely better. I didn't even think about that. Maybe that's a reason why I prefer. It could be.
Mike tweeted into the show at VBush84. Mike tweeted in, quote, where did it go? He said he would, here it is. College any day. NFL, I wouldn't take $1 million to wear Patriot gear. I don't believe you. I don't believe that.
Well,
you cannot tell me you wouldn't rock a rival logo for $1 million.
No. If you wear Patriots gear, what you're saying is, don't trust me. That's what you're saying.
For $1 million, you can think whatever the hell you want about me.
No. You're saying don't trust me, don't hire me, don't have a relationship with me because I'm going to cheat, because that's what Patriots do.
$1 million? You're telling me $1 million you wouldn't wear your rival's logo?
See, I love these hypotheticals. There's just no way, although there are some rich people in the audience who could possibly, someone who worked at one of the bigger corporations that's in this area, because we've got some rich people who might go, I'll show you. Here's $1 million. But for the most part, someone's not going to walk up and offer you $1 million to put that on.
Right. 85% of what we do on Sports Talk Radio is hypothetical.
Yeah, but within that hypothetical, there is a case where someone could say, hey, I've got $5,000 for you right now if you rock this and for a week on the air. That is definitely a possibility.
Like, without bragging, there's a chance for this podcast Alonzo and I are doing to pay us good money. I mean, good money. Good money.
Yeah,
which is literally me getting paid to wear my rival's logo. I
just look at it and go,
that's worth it.
That's it could happen though. It definitely could happen. Yeah,
it could. And if it could, you better believe I'm taking the shot, right? Is it okay to wear your rival's logo if you're getting paid for it? Is it okay to wear your rival's logo if your significant other is a rival? Texter said, I would wear Duke gear for about 5 minutes if I could burn it afterwards. Hey, Miss Lisa's here. Miss Lisa, what amount of money would Lonzo have to bring home where you would tell him, put on the tiger paws, Zoe? I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, put on the tiger paw. What amount of money would Zoe get paid where Miss Lisa would say, wear the tiger paw, Lonzo? I don't care if you hate it. There is an amount. Everybody's got a price. 1 hour left of the Rob Brown Show. We'll talk sports including what SC quarterback got left off of the Manning Award list. Next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Tim asked why you're afraid of Dick Vermeil. Did you answer that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did. That's what I said. You're not afraid of anything.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm nervous because he's
a legend.
That's
a Chiefs legend.
Yeah, that's but I think I'd be less nervous talking to Andy Reid because Andy Reid looks like a dude that you could talk to. Because Andy Reid talks about nothing but going and eating cheeseburgers. I'm eating a cheeseburger. Not only am I eating a cheeseburger with Andy Reid, I'm trying to match size and speed of the devouring of the cheeseburger.
I get Andy Reid on. If we get the opportunity to, if we get to do an interview in person with Andy Reid, you know what I'm doing? I'm grilling a Rob Brown special burger and bringing it in for his judgment. That's what I'm doing.
Well, that guy knows burgers.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I would bring in a Rob Brown deluxe burger for Andy Reid to judge.
See, that's the thing. It's weird. There's some people I think esteem is high for a lot of these guys, but there are some people that there's somewhere in you that goes, man, that guy is I should not be talking to him.
Yeah, I brought him up earlier in the show. I think I don't get scared. There are interviews that I get nervous because I want to do a great job and have somebody be like, that was fun. Bobby Avier would be on that list for me. New Orleans, Archie Manning. I've talked to Archie before. I still get nervous when I talk to Archie.
Hey, Shivani was on there for me, but I made Shivani laugh the very first thing, and I'm like,
we're good now, right?
yeah, that's I did something I didn't think I could do.
But I'll tell you why I wasn't nervous with Shivani. Because Tony Schiavone is me. He's me. As soon as we turned the camera on and we saw the comic book room and a guy who travels the world doing wrestling shows for a living, I'm like, this guy's just me. He's living my life.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't think I'll ever get over being kind of nervous whenever we interview anybody. But there are some people, it's just like, I am going to sound like an idiot when I open my mouth. And I usually do, but still.
Since I haven't watched in a while, do we still like Cameron Grimes?
Cameron Grimes is at a crossroads. He's
Yeah.
being recruited by the Psycho Cult. So you will see the Psycho Cult in the.
I just saw them taunting him during his match.
See, I don't know if you know who the other two guys are because it's been a while since
Nope,
you've
I don't.
watched. I mean, who they used to be. Do you remember a tag team called the Grizzled Young Veterans? Yep. That's them. The
why
one
aren't they
dude.
that anymore?
One dude shaved his.
That was such a great concept.
It was, but them as acolytes, I guess, has actually been pretty good too, because you saw them. It didn't know who they were until they mentioned who they were. Because the one dude who still has long hair, when he had his hair up, no idea who it was. No, you're right, Tim. You absolutely are. But I have a phobia of talking to people. It's never diagnosed with social anxiety disorder, but I probably have it. Radio has helped me a great deal, but still, it's like I'm talking to Dick Vermeil. That's Dick Vermeil. Man, don't get us flagged. What are you doing?
I'm watching the commercial.
Oh, okay. That's what you would call toxic masculinity, Rob.
It is. It's frankly offensive.
You would have walked right up and knocked out battery.
He was James T. West. James West, desperado, rough rider. No, you don't want nada. None of this six gunning, this brother running, this buffalo soldier. Look, it's like I told you. Any damsel that's in distress be out of that dress when she meets Jim West. That is the Will Smith theme song to
Wild
his
Wild
remake of
Wild,
Wild West.
Yeah, which was
But
not
the OG
that good.
Wild Wild West, James West was Robert Conrad.
One of my favorite shows of all time because it was so cool, all the inventions and everything on the train and all that stuff. And I was a little kid. I never took speech in college, Tim, because I'd have to talk in front of people. I mean, you can look at it as a weakness, and I guess in some ways it is, but at the other way you can look at it, it's an obstacle to overcome. And there are people in high school, some people never heard me speak, period, in class or otherwise, that are just completely thrown that I'm actually on the radio. And Rob has seen my mind go blank while talking to someone. I don't want it to do it. It just does.
The third, the final, the best of money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Welcome back, y'all. Rob Brown, the great one Lonzo with you today. Be a part of the show, 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. Text the show on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. If you have not texted the show before, why? Why not? Let your voice get heard, my man. Shoot the text. Pop your name on the end of it. If you wanted to be anonymous, that's fine too. Like the texter who said, "Fan, I would wear a Gamecock gear between my butt cheeks during a colonoscopy." Dramatic, but I like it.
And it might get in the way. I'm thinking I don't know.
My buddy Chris from the Riot sent in a tweet earlier. He's a big Cowboys fan. It's like, you wouldn't catch me dead in Eagles gear or Commanders gear, right? Said you wouldn't catch me dead. There's no way. Then we had Mike who tweeted in earlier. He's like, I wouldn't wear Patriots gear for $1 million. Chris was like, $1 million I might put on the Philly gear. Yeah, you would. You damn sure right you would. Unless you already have $1 million, you would put it on for $1 million. Of course you would. Of course you would. I can't stand the Atlanta Falcons. If I got paid to be their play-by-play guy, yeah, I'd wear black and red. Are you kidding me? No worries. For the money and the benefits that come with that job, heck yeah, I'd do it. Of course. Of course. All right, let me get some actual sports in here since I have neglected that so far on this Sports Talk Radio show.
I beg to differ. Almost everything that's been discussed today is sports related.
I like it. I'll take it.
You don't need to apologize for anything. You're Rob Brown.
I'd like to take this second to apologize to absolutely nobody. The Allstate Sugar Bowl announced its preseason watch list of the nation's 30 best quarterbacks. That list was put out to keep an eye on these quarterbacks who are Manning Award threats. On that list include Brennan Armstrong of Virginia, Stetson Bennett IV at Georgia, Logan Bonner at Utah State. I'm not going to read them all to you, but I hit the highlights. Chase Bryce Sr. of Appalachian State. Diesel's going to be pumped. Sean Clifford, Penn State. Malik Cunningham, Louisville. Brett Gabbert Jr. at Miami of Ohio. Jake Hayner Sr. at Fresno State. Jaron Hall at BYU. Frank Harris at Texas San Antonio. Sam Hartman at Wake. Seth Hennigan at Memphis. Hendon Hooker, Tennessee. KJ Jefferson, Arkansas. Devin Leary, NC State. Will Levis, Kentucky. Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina. Tanner Mordecai, which, by the way, is an incredible name. Tanner Mordecai at SMU. Aiden O'Connell at Purdue. Chris Reynolds at Charlotte. Cameron Rising at Utah. Will Rodgers at Mississippi State, Spencer Sanders at Oklahoma State, C.J. Stroud at The Ohio State University, Talia Tagovailoa at Maryland, Dorian Thompson-Robinson at UCLA, Peyton Thorne Jr. from Michigan State, Clayton Tune from Houston, Tyler Van Dyke at Miami, and, of course, Bryce Young at Alabama. Neither Spencer Rattler nor DJ Uiagalelei made that list, Lonzo. Neither Clemson or South Carolina's made that list. Does that shock you? Does that surprise you?
Well, Spencer Rattler's been still getting a bunch of hype,
Yep.
so I'm maybe a little shocked about that, but they're going by the last time he played, I suppose. And so I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with DJ either not being on that list. There are a bunch of people on that list are just so they can fill out the list. And is that a list that can change?
Yeah, people can be added to it.
Okay, can people be taken away?
I'm sure. I mean, it's a pretty
I
arbitrary
guess
list.
I guess that would be kind of mean if you took them away. You could be good coming from Miami of Ohio. That's true. But there's some quarterbacks on there that this is the only time you'll ever hear their name is when you just read it.
I don't know, man. I mean, like the majority of these guys have some impressive number attached to them, right? There's a few. KJ Jefferson at Arkansas is on this list, right? Now, KJ Jefferson had a QBR of 76.7, completed 67.3% of his passes, threw for 26.76 on the yardage scale, 21 touchdowns to 4 picks, but he also ran for 664 and 6 TDs, right? So you can get on this list based on what you did rushing the football. But like, for instance, Chase Bryce Jr. of Appalachian State, all due respect to the Mountaineer signal caller, a QBR of less than 68, a completion percentage of 62. He threw for over 3,300 yards, 27 TDs, 11 picks, rushed for $149 and 3 TDs. There are guys on the list this year like Malik who might put up $150 and 3 TDs in a couple of games, right? Are you telling me right now, if I asked you, a genuine question, if I asked you right now, when this season is over, who is going to have a statistically more significant season? Spencer Rattler at SC or Chase Bryce at Appalachian State? Taking strength of opponent into consideration, who's a better quarterback? Chase Bryce, a senior in Appalachian State, or Spencer Rattler at USC?
So you're saying strictly from a stats point of view?
Statistically speaking.
It'd be the app quarterback.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know if I guarantee that. I don't know that I can't see Spencer Rattler having a total QBR of 68 or better, which is what he'd need to have a better year than this.
Right,
QBR
right.
68.
Right. He's going to be going up against some pretty good competition.
Sure,
It's
he's got Georgia in there, A&M in there. I agree. It's even with the tougher competition.
By the way, I really hope he does, surpass all that number. But
I'm fairly confident saying Spencer Rattler Jr. has already shown he can do better than a 68 as a QBR. I'd be willing to bet Spencer, with the WR core that he's got lined up, can do better than completing 62% of his passes. I'm not saying he's going to pass 70, right? On this list, there are 1, 2, 3. Out of 30, there are 4 quarterbacks who had a higher than 70% completion percentage. Grayson McCall out of Coastal Carolina did it with 73. Aiden O'Connell from Purdue had a 71. Will Rodgers from Mississippi State had a 73, and C.J. Stroud had a 71.9% completion percentage. I'm not saying that Spencer Rattler's going to get to 70%, but I think he can do better than 62%. Sean Clifford at Louisville. Scratch that. Penn State, sorry. 66 QBR, 61% completion percentage, 3,100 yards, 21 TDs, 8 picks, ran for $163 and 2 TDs. Spencer Rattler will have a better year than that. I think a lot of people are looking at Spencer Rattler stats from last year. And that's fair. And that's fair. You should be looking at 2021 stats to see what this guy did when he lost his job. He was when he lost his job, by the way, when he lost his job, Lonzo, he was 140 of 187. He had a 74.9% completion percentage. He was averaging 7.9 yards per catch, 1,483 yards through the air, and had a 11-5 touchdown to interception ratio. Now, 11-5 is not outstanding, right? So it's just not an outstanding number. He played in 5 games last year. At Kansas State, where he went 22 of 25 for 243, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. He played number 21 Texas. He went 8 for 15 for $111, no touches, 1 pick. He went against Texas Tech, 5 of 5, 67 yards, 1 touch. He went 4 of 6 against Baylor for 36. That was when they started rotating Caleb Williams in. He lost his job after going 1 of 1 against Iowa State. Caleb got the official nod to be full-time starter the week after that. We did not see Spencer Rattler again. Before he lost his job, the numbers weren't awful. They really weren't. I can't be mad at that.
Were those numbers better than the South Carolina quarterbacks that were the multiple quarterbacks that played last year?
I would say they were no worse than comparable.
Okay.
Right? I'd say they're no worse than comparable. Spencer Rattler is an upgrade at QB. No doubt. And I think one thing that happened at Oklahoma, and you know, I've been accused of saying this and being labeled an optimist. And I guess I am to some degree, as I've told you guys many times. For the same reason I'm wearing Panthers gear today, because it makes me money, and I'm a big fan of that. Spencer Rattler lost his job to Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to be very good. He was good at Oklahoma. He's going to be good at the next level. I will say one more thing. One thing you'll notice about this list, no freshmen, right? No freshmen on this list. You see a couple of sophomores. Most everybody's a junior or a senior. Most of them are seniors. Second thing you're going to notice about this list, Lonzo, no transfers. Nobody playing. Caleb Williams is not on this list. Most of us think that Caleb Williams is going to be very good.
Spencer Rattler's a transfer.
Right, that's what I'm saying. There are no transfers on this list. On the Manning Award list.
Yeah. Okay, all right, all right.
On the Manning Award list, there are no transfers. Or at least none that jumped out to me. None that I know off the top of my head. Right? None that I know off the top of my head. But what I do recognize is that Caleb Williams is going to be a good player. By the way, how good is Caleb Williams going to be as quarterback that he lost his job to? Here's your Heisman odds, Lonzo. You know how I've made it a point to point out that in the playoff odds, it's about a 70-point fall from 1 to 2 and about a 70-point fall from 2 to 3. And then it's about an 800-point fall from 3 to 4, right? You got Bama leading the pack, Ohio State second, Georgia's third. They're all remotely close to each other. And then you drop like 800 points to get down to Clemson at the number 4 spot. Here's your Heisman Trophy odds. Updated yesterday evening. C.J. Stroud is the Heisman Trophy frontrunner at plus 200. 2-1 odds to win the Heisman. Bryce Young is plus 350. 3.5 to 1 to win the Heisman Trophy a second year in a row. You know who the third biggest favorite in college football to win the Heisman Trophy is? Caleb Williams at USC. You know what his odds are? Plus 700. He's 7-1. So those are exactly twice the odds of Bryce Young at number 2. 7-1. You know who the next highest Heisman Trophy favorite is this year? Will Anderson Jr. at plus 2,000. 20 to 1. So I think a lot of people looked and went, Spencer Rattler lost his job because he's bad. In fact, Texter just sent into the show, so Rob, why did Rattler lose his job? Serious question. I did not follow him. Well, number one, Spencer Rattler was, in certain spots, not great. That's not the reason he lost his job. Part of the reason he lost his job is because Caleb Williams was the future for Lincoln Riley, right? Part of the reason that DJ Uiagalelei could lose his job, is not because DJ's bad, but it's because Cade Klubnik is the future, according to Dabo, according to Clemson fans, right? It is one thing to bench a QB. It is another thing to bench the QB when the heir to the throne is waiting. Spencer did not just get benched because he was bad. Spencer did not just get benched because he was inconsistent. There were spots that he was. I'm not trying to argue that he wasn't. Spencer didn't lose his job because he was bad. Spencer lost his job because Lincoln Riley looks at Caleb Williams and sees the future. And I can't blame him. Vegas does not give a good gosh darn about anything except how do we make money. Caleb Williams has two quarterbacks ahead of him as Heisman Trophy favorites. Bryce Young, who already has one, and C.J. Stroud, who most of us believe will get one. Those are the only two QBs above Caleb Williams. Vegas has got no fandom in the way that they play this out, right? Spencer lost his job for two reasons. Number one, he was inconsistent in a few spots. And number two, because Caleb Williams is the future. Because Caleb Williams is being looked at as having the potential to be a transformative college football quarterback. Lincoln Riley knew that at Oklahoma. It is part of the reason that Lincoln Riley talked Caleb Williams into traveling with him to SC. It is part of the reason that Caleb Williams is going to be a Trojan this year. Caleb Williams is the future for Lincoln Riley. At the point that Spencer had a couple of struggles last year, Lincoln Riley went, all right, we can go ahead and plug him in. We can go ahead and let him get snaps. We can go ahead and let him come in and have an opportunity here, right? We can give him a shot. So they did. And he performed. And Spencer didn't get his job back. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. Week 7 of last year, if Caleb Williams was a Tiger, Caleb Williams would have taken DJ Uiagalelei's job. If Caleb Williams was a Tiger last year, we wouldn't be talking about DJ Uiagalelei right now because he would be a transfer. He would have Spencer Rattlered his way somewhere else. But Caleb Williams wasn't a Tiger. He was a Sooner. Spencer Rattler was a Sooner too. A lot of people just look and they go, oh, he lost his job. He was bad. Not necessarily. In our job, unless you get very lucky and work for somebody who gets it, you know when your last day in radio is? The first day that somebody can come in and get better numbers. That's how it works, right? The reason Lonzo and I and Mark Ryan and Diesel bring it every day is because the day that somebody goes, I think this cat can get better numbers than that cat, you are gone. It's the same with quarterbacking, man. It's the same with QBing. The day that your head coach believes the guy behind you gives you a better chance to win the game is the day you're done being the starter. Spencer Rattler at OU had Caleb Williams behind him, who Lincoln Riley already believed could be a better QB. And when Spencer had a bit of a sputter in the engine, Lincoln went, all right, now's his time to shine. And he was never going to look back from that, right? That's what happened to Spencer Rattler. Shane Beamer said, quote, if somebody thinks that he is not one of the best 30 quarterbacks in the country, they've lost their minds, in my opinion. But that's just me. He said, quote, I don't think the guy's gotten worse as a quarterback since last year. End quote. And I think Shane's right. I got no problem. I got no problem at all saying that Spencer Rattler will be one of the best 30 quarterbacks in college. In the top third, yeah, he will be. He will be. Because the other thing he has going for him this year that he did not have at Oklahoma, we talked about the pressure, right? I've said how many times this offseason. The expectations at Oklahoma were Heisman Trophy, national championship, Big 12 title. Lonzo, at USC, are there expectations of an SEC championship this year, realistically?
Realistically, no.
No. Hell, are there expectations of a divisional championship this year?
No.
No, not at all. Are there expectations for Spencer Rattler to win the Heisman Trophy?
No.
No. Are there expectations for anything other than make us relevant?
Just want to have a better record than last year.
Yeah, that's it. The only expectations are 7 wins and make us relevant. That's it. That's why he failed at Oklahoma. I think the pressure was too high. The other thing he had going at Oklahoma, Spencer Rattler's not a dumb guy. He had Caleb Williams breathing down his neck all season long. And like it or not, there are some people who cannot perform when the competition is in their ear. And yes, while the guys lined up across from Oklahoma were the competition, so was Caleb Williams. Now, if SC was competing for a Eastern Division championship this year, I'd be apprehensive because I do believe Spencer folded into the pressure. And I am banking on he learned how not to do that or how to handle that, right? If they had a showdown with Georgia to determine the winner of the East, I'd be more nervous. If Spencer Rattler had SEC championship expectations, I'd be more nervous. If there were national championship expectations, I'd be more nervous. But not only does he have none of those things on him at USC, he also doesn't. Does anybody think, and I'm sorry, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but does anybody think Luke Doty is breathing down Spencer Rattler's neck right now? Nah, bro. No. Of course not. Nobody believes that. Nobody thinks that's the case, right? Nobody believes that. So as far as I'm concerned, all of the things that caused a problem for Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma, they're not things at SC. The monkey comes off the back. Spencer's going to be fine. Bold prediction, Lonzo. Ready for it? Spencer Rattler. I'm optimistic for both guys. I really am. And I may eat these words. We'll see. Spencer Rattler has a better year than DJ Uiagalelei. At the end of the year, subjectively, I don't know that I'll be able to objectively prove it, but subjectively, at the end of the year, Spencer Rattler will have a better year than DJ Uiagalelei. And I'm optimistic about both guys.
Well, some Clemson fans would say absolutely because DJ isn't going to be on the field.
I mean, maybe. If that's the case, I'm still right.
Oh, yeah, it definitely makes you right.
But I'm going to go on the record right now and say that at the end of this season, Spencer Rattler will have had a more impressive year than DJ Uiagalelei. Clemson might win more games, but Spencer Rattler will have a better year at QB. I believe he could be that good, and I am banking on lessons learned from what happened at Oklahoma and the fact that Caleb got the job not because Spencer was bad, but because Caleb is good. Hence, him being third in Vegas's betting odds for the Heisman. Does anybody want to take that up? 844-FAN phone, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. or text the show on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307. I believe Spencer Rattler will have a better year than DJ Uyunglele, and I am optimistic about both. Back after this on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
Did you break it?
No, it just shut off. I didn't do anything.
Well, I was going to say the light's still on.
Yeah, it's got power. It just disconnected from the computer, which is over there, so I can't have touched it. Like it lights up, it does the loading screen, then it says no signal. It just turns
So actually, I think it's down here, but I think. I will send engineering an email right now. Of course, it probably had nothing to do with House and Wentz. It might not. There he goes using that term again he's gotten in trouble for before.
What's that?
Sloppy.
This golf lane thing looks cool, dude. Have you seen it?
Myles Garrett said week 1 won't be particularly special to him as he and the Browns don't have any rivalry with Baker Mayfield and the Panthers.
As hard as I can wink.
I mean, this is all well and good that the company, talking about Tiger, embracing technology to make sports better, but that technology has to be approved by whatever sport they're working on.
So
also.
they're creating a primetime 3-versus-3 golfing show. They're not instituting it on the PGA Tour. He's making a
So now we know
arena golf game, basically.
Now we know the real reason why he was against LIV because
This has made it directly to compete with them.
Right,
100%.
right,
This is
so
we're
that's
going to show you guys.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is,
Why they had the meetings and everything?
yeah, because
I'm sure.
he wants to make
Yeah.
the money, not the other place. Nothing wrong with that. That's the thing. That's what I said, Josh. That's the only way I've ever worn other colors is because I lost bets. And they were embarrassing days, including the day where I had Clemson magnets all over my car and my third grade daughter would not get in the car. And one of the teachers who happened to be a listener thought it was hilarious and escorted her to the car and kind of made her get in. And then walked around to me, had me roll down the window just so she could laugh at me. Because you never know who's listening. The first time I learned that lesson was when I was destroying the middle school football coach for not playing my son, and then found out they listened all the time. So he heard me saying it.
You were destroying the coach for not playing your son.
I wasn't specific.
Are you a youth league Karen?
I wasn't specific. This was before Karen existed.
How do you generically berate a coach for not playing your kid?
You don't use names.
You're just like, there's a kid on your team. You're not playing. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
are you a youth league Karen? I'm asking it on air. I don't care how hard.
No,
you shake your head.
you can ask it on air, but it's the question is not a valid question.
Lonzo just said to me that there was a point in time where, and if I'm misquoting you on this, please feel free to correct me, but you said I was berating the middle school coach for not playing my kid. Are you a youth parent Karen?
No, because Karens didn't exist. The term Karen did not exist back when this was going on.
It doesn't
so
stop
therefore,
them from being Karens.
No, it does because the term didn't exist. So your question is not valid because Karen
This is a yes, ladies
no,
and
no,
gentlemen.
no, no.
This is a yes.
And this is could be considered a semantic argument, but it's not. It's a historical argument because historically, that term used as a derogatory term or
Okay, so
word
before the
did
term
not
dinosaur
exist.
existed, were there no dinosaurs? Yes, there were. A term can
There
come to
were
describe something historically.
there were no humans to say that there were
Yes,
dinosaurs.
Yes, there was but the word dinosaur didn't come into use until the early 1800s. So in the 1700s, they didn't exist. T-Rex wasn't a thing before that.
By the way, for all you scoring at home,
we're not doing the semantic version. You're not getting off the hook for this.
I won this argument, so he's doing the thing that
We're
he
not
always
getting
does.
off the hook for this.
He throws in something that has nothing to do with what
You
we're talking
did it.
about. No, you did.
I directly asked you.
We're talking football, and you went
said,
dinosaurs.
I berated a middle school coach for not playing my kid. What was that like? Because I got to tell you, I'm getting Karen vibes right now.
And again, you're saying Karen, the term did not exist. So what you're asking is inaccurate. And you as a science guy who likes to be right, now if you want to rephrase your question and take that word out of it, then I can answer the question the way you want it answered.
Were you the youth sports fan that is frequently complained about in sports radio for overstepping parental boundaries towards the team?
I was the typical, but I learned my lesson that you don't know who's listening. And even though you're angry about something, sometimes some things should be left off there. And once I learned that lesson, I didn't do that anymore.
No. There was a point where you went to a coach and were like, you're not playing my kid.
No. I never went to the coach. I just mentioned it on the air. I just mentioned it on the air.
So on the air, publicly, you were like, my kid's not getting the PT that he deserves?
What were the chances the guy was listening to my show? No one listens to me.
Man.
But he was. By the way, he thought it was funny and was a big-time fan. He thought it was hilarious.
Huh. Lonzo went on air
And I
Karen
believe-
for a minute.
You know when this happened, Rob? You know how long ago that was?
Like 97.
It was back around.
So your kid's about well, he's a little bit younger than me.
No, he's about to turn 29 in a
Okay.
couple months. So he's 28,
So then this would have been like 06, 07.
something like that. Yes. So
You've grown as a person.
I grew that day. No, I legitimately learned that lesson. And there were other gripes that I had afterwards with other sports and another kid. And I learned my lesson because at that point, I found out that a lot more people knew who I was than I thought. And was that the reason? Was that a deterrent? Yes, that's what stopped me.
Texture says Lonzo's like the little league dad who wants to fight umpires.
Oh, no, I'm not. But after I learned that, from then on, when I was at all those games, back when you had camcorders because phones didn't have it, I made sure that if any parent complained, I was right there viewing it because at that time I became
That guy.
I became
You were that guy
no
for a
no
minute.
no I became Lonzo Reitzel, employee of 106.3 WORD and reporter at that point. So I was recording the news. If there were punches thrown,
Lonzo was a content creator.
no.
before that term was used to.
Here's the thing, and this is how it works. If I'm out and I see something like that, I immediately call into the station and report the news because I can do that. That's what we're supposed to. We are the eyes and ears out there. That's what we do. So after I learned my lesson from then on, if I saw anybody else doing that, I was filming it. I was doing whatever I could to make sure I got the scoop before anyone else did.
Texter says, I said in the last segment that I'm going on the record saying I think Spencer Rattler will have a subjectively better season than DJ Uiagalelei this year. And a texter said, Rob, would you bet a Vegemite shake with a wiener straw on it? No. I wouldn't bet a Vegemite shake with a wiener straw that the sun's going to come up tomorrow. I wouldn't bet a Vegemite shake with a wiener straw that the sun is up right now.
Hey, what else would be in a Vegemite shake? I mean, is there something that could counter the taste of Vegemite within the shake? You put the Vegemite in there.
Caloric acid, I think, would be up there. Bleach would probably do it. You know, a bucket of Lysol might be able to dispel
I'm guessing
decimate it.
all those things will be frowned upon by legal, so we probably shouldn't go with any of those to go in
You
the
shouldn't
shake.
go with Vegemite itself. It's a bioweapon, right? It's chemical warfare is what Vegemite is. The answer is no, Texter. I wouldn't bet you a Vegemite shake with a wiener straw that, like, I'm going to breathe in the next 10 minutes. Just in case. I'm not doing it. Can't do it. Won't do it. It's awful. Also, hot dog straw guy sucks. Just in case I didn't make that clear yesterday. He sucks.
Literally, he did, and we all saw it. Thank you.
The great one, ladies and gentlemen. The great one. Keegan says, Mom, Dad, please stop fighting.
Not to worry. During the break, we'll talk wrestling. We're good.
Real quick, before we run out to break and wrap up the show, just a few minutes ago on Twitter, two stories came out that I wanted to get to. Number one, Tom Brady has now officially denied that he left Bucks camp to be a contestant on the newest season of The Masked Singer. However, at the same time, the first batch of promos for the debut of season 8 of Masked Singer on September 21st has dropped. And in one of them, Ken Jeong, one of the judges, says, after being shown a contestant dressed as a peacock in a suit, I think that's a football legend. He initially guesses Peyton Manning, but then he says, no, wait. I think that might be the greatest of all time. And then they cut away. So the show is insinuating that Tom Brady may very well be on The Masked Singer. But Brady is saying that he's not, which is, of course, exactly what somebody on The Masked Singer would say. Tom. So we'll see. That show debuts September 21st, and you better believe it or not. But here's the problem.
No way he makes it 11 days. That means he made it through, what, 2 shows?
No, because they filmed the whole season like in one go.
Do
the
they?
Season's already canned.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The season's already canned. Season's already done. So now they just release it a week at a time, but they film it over like 11 days, right? So my now the interesting thing about that is they take live votes during the show. So no, they don't, because reality TV is dumb.
Well, the audience can vote.
Yeah.
I think they have the voting thing.
Oh, I
in
thought
the
you could
audience.
text in your votes. Maybe that was just the first couple of seasons.
No, they have an audience.
Gotcha.
thing. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. But if it is Brady, you and I both know now that the hype they've manufactured with this, if Brady's in there, he's making it to the Final Four of that show, right? Just to keep people watching until it's revealed that it's him. Because they know a bunch of football fans are going to watch it to see if it's Brady and then bail out when it is or is not. So if he is on there, he's going to make it, or he's not on it, and they're going to tease it all the way to the final.
What was that country song, When He Cheats? Is that going to be the song he sings?
You're cheating hard.
No, not that one. It was, what's her name from the
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. Yeah.
Before, I think it's before. Is it before he cheats or?
You're the country guy. I've heard the song and immediately I'm thinking that's
Oh, the
what he's
next
singing.
time that he cheats, you know it won't be on me. I got a great country voice. Second story I wanted to get to before we take our break here in just a moment. Minutes ago on Twitter, the news broke that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy have teamed together to create TMRW Sports. And they have created the Golf League, a quote, new tech-infused team golf league in partnership with the PGA Tour, kicking off January 2024. Now, we have only seen renders of what this is going to look like, but basically it is a digital golf league. It will be a 3-on-3 team event with players from the PGA Tour, played inside of a studio in front of a live audience. It's a very fan-driven event where they will play golf, but with like golf challenges. And instead of, for big drives and stuff, instead of doing it on a golf course, they will use a top tech golf simulator followed by an arena floor that has elevation, turf, sand, et cetera, and it'll be played in front of a live audience. And that's really all we know about this. Really all we know about this. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I don't know anything about it. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know how this is going to go. I know I am all in. Hold my beer.
So this is esports with props.
It is golf meets esports. Absolutely. It is absolutely golf meets esports. In fact, let me see if I can, let me pull this up. Here, Lonzo, is the TGL homepage that has the about right now. Over on the left is what the arena looks like, right? Far edge, it's got a big simulator screen where these guys will hit their drives and whatnot. Closer to us, it's got an arena floor that has a turf golf course on it, complete with sand traps and whatnot. And it's going to be a 3-on-3 golf league. It says the league will launch with 6 teams, each consisting of 3 PGA Tour players. Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy are the first 2 golfers committed to compete. The custom-built arena will combine a data-rich virtual course with a state-of-the-art short game complex. TGL will offer a high-tech, high-energy fan experience with fans sitting greenside. The inaugural TGL season kicks off January 2024 with a 15-match regular season, followed by playoffs and a championship match. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how it's laid out, and I don't care. I'm in because it is unique, it is innovative, it is captivating, and I don't even know what the hell it is yet.
That picture's a lie. Because the picture has fans celebrating and all excited. If it's anything like golf, they won't be allowed to do that.
It's not going to be. That's why that's why I'm in for this, right? Because every year, my favorite tournament is the one in Scottsdale, the Waste Management Open. That's the one we showed you last year where the guy hit a hole-in-one and like 10,000 beers went into the air. And I was like, oh my God, it's a party. It's a tailgate party with golf involved. These guys, the golfers are having fun with this. This, from what I understand, is going to be a primetime TV show. The audience will be involved. They will be active, rooting, cheering, chanting, hollering. This is going to be captivating in a way that golf is not, and I think that's great because the first step to get people who don't like golf into golf is to meet them halfway. How many times have I told you guys?
It's to lie to them and say, here's what golf is, even though it's not.
No. It's to go, this is fun. It's different. It's new. It's unique. It's creative. It's innovative. It's energetic. And then a fraction of people that watch it are going to go, You know, I really like this Rory McIlroy guy. Let me watch him this Sunday in the Open Championship. I really like this. I was going to say Tiger Woods, but you know who Tiger Woods is. I really like this PGA Tour guy who is hilarious or entertaining, right? Peyton Manning has taken his football career, but he's taken his charisma and personality and he's transformed it into hosting all these different shows that make him money. These guys have the opportunity to go out there, let their personality shine, and hook fans who will then follow that personality to a regular golf event. This is brilliant. We wondered why Tiger was meeting with every PGA Tour a couple of weeks ago. Bango. Now we know. This is brilliant, and I love it. Let's take a break. We're back after this to wrap this bad boy up on the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. When the show's over, I'm going to take off, run, and grab a T-shirt. Come back. Are you good to record at like 1:30?
Sure.
Okay.
I prefer 12:15, but 1:30 we can do that. No, I probably at 1:30 have a good shot of having a majority of other stuff done. So
Let me rephrase that. I need time to leave, go get a shirt, come back, clean up the prep sheet, and then I'll be ready to record when you are.
okay.
Because I also need to give myself time to do that, go home, let the dog out, and come back by 3. Which should only take me 30 minutes.
Just keep in mind, we told them we would get this done today, so we need to.
No, it is the priority.
Okay.
If I can't let the dog out, I just got to
Well,
let Courtney know.
no. What I'm saying is, if something happens and it doesn't get done before 3, I will come back at 7.
No, we'll have it done before the show.
Or we could try out the home thing. So.
Yeah, we'll have it done by then. By 7:15, my broadcasting brain will be ready to be switched off.
I'm sure. Well, no, actually, I know it will. As someone who went home Monday night, it was just like, oh.
You know what's annoying about our bumper music is that it frequently gets stuck in my head. And then when it does, I'm singing it later and people are like, what song is that? And I'm like, it's not anything you'll know.
It's the price we pay to put music on stream.
Oh yeah.
You're welcome, stream.
We do it for you people.
Need to get more, but a lot of the digital ready stuff, a lot of stuff lately hasn't been that good. So, and I've been busy, which is no excuse.
A clothing company has just signed a deal with 31 collegiate institutions to roll out customized gear. I'm going to give you the list of the universities and see if you can come up with the gear. Right? What brand company this is. Auburn, FSU, Iowa State, LSU, Michigan State, Mississippi State, NC State, Purdue, Texas A&M, TCU, Alabama, Florida, Ole Miss, Nebraska, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Wrangler.
Okay. All right. Okay. I get it.
Of course it is. Yeah, Keegan, that's exactly right. It is Topgolf on steroids. That's exactly what it is. I know people who do not play golf. They don't like golf. They don't want to play golf. They got no interest in the game of golf. But if you bring them to Topgolf, they're all in because it's a game, right? It's fun. It's different. It's unique. And they just ramp that up. I think it's great. I think it's great.
So does Rob Brown wear Wranglers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just curious.
And boots.
Do you have to pick between Wranglers and Levi's?
Do you have to? No. Do I? Yeah, I'm a Wrangler guy.
Okay, that's weird because why is that time before that time, even though that time's after that time? I don't get what is going on. So the chapters decided to put 11:48 before 11:30.
That's not how numbers work.
That's not how it's supposed to work. Wasn't putting anything in that anyway because they're still working on this, but that's weird. It's when you think you've seen everything.
I done synced it all.
All right, time for Twitter Trending Topics where I tell Rob what is trending and he tells us what it is. And I can guarantee none of it has to do with clothing. Maybe. All right, the first thing that's trending is Andrew Luck.
All right, I'm coming to that, but I am going to talk about clothing for a minute.
Knew it.
I put the poll up.
He's got to talk about the poll.
I put the poll. I just want to give the results.
No, you should. You should. Absolutely.
I want to give the results. You still got like 22 more hours to vote because I set it to run through the beginning of the show tomorrow. Lonzo and I asked on the poll at the Fan Upstate on Twitter, is it okay to wear a Rivals gear if you're getting paid for it? Is it okay to wear a Rivals gear if you're getting paid for it? The three options are yes, make that money. No, be true to your school or don't. Or three, the third, C, I guess is how letters work. Maybe how many zeros? As of right now, we got 25 votes in about an hour. 40% for yes, make that money. 32% for no, be true or don't. And 28% for maybe how many zeros? With that being said, my old morning show host and mentor in this business, Adam McCloskey, who I did a morning show with years ago down in Florida, tweeted the show and said, depends on the rival and the amount. Like, I'm not wearing an Eli jersey for $200, but I'd wear an athletic shirt for $50. He's a Texas Rangers guy. That's a rival. I'm not wearing an Eli Manning jersey for $200, but I'd wear an A shirt for $50, right? Like, I would also agree with that. The amount I need to get paid to wear a Falcons jersey, Lonzo, dramatically higher than the amount I need to wear a Carolina Panthers jersey.
No, it's absolutely a great point. It does depend on the team
right.
and all that.
Like, if
stuff.
they invited us to do a Michigan podcast as opposed to the Panthers,
Wow.
I'm assuming you'd be much more stringent in what it took.
I physically just almost got ill.
I know.
You don't ask me that question. I'm not doing that.
Now think about it. This is a divisional rival of the team I grew up with, right? It's similar. All right, Andrew Luck is trending. I don't know why.
It's the 3rd year anniversary of when he retired. The style of the blue.
Yeah, that was still weird. But I get it, man. He made his money and he was done. Like, some people just don't have, and this is not, I know people say this like, oh, he didn't have a passion for football. And they say it like it's a negative. It's not.
And
there's a lot of things I don't have a passion for.
And the last time, I want to make sure we have time for this. Lynn Dawson is trending.
Yeah, Lynn Dawson, the quarterback who brought the Kansas City Chiefs to Super Bowl IV, has passed away. He was like 90 or right at 90, almost 90? You got any thoughts on that? I wasn't around for Super Bowl IV, so not that you were.
Neither was I. My first time really seeing Lynn Dawson was on Inside the NFL.
Yeah.
Used to watch that religiously when he was on it.
There you go. All right, kids, that's it. Jim Rome takes you into the jungle after this. I'll be alongside Mark Ryan for Offsides at 3. We'll see you then. First episode of the Views from Mint Street podcast will be uploaded tomorrow morning. Make sure you are subscribed to Views from Mint Street on Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate the downloads. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow to do it all over again. Thursday edition of the Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. All right, I am going to go let them know that this screen has...
I already sent him an email.
Okay.
Yeah, they said they will come and take care of it when Chris says he's on the call right now. I'll
Okay.
take care of it afterwards.
Cool. All right, thanks for watching. Streaming guys are the best.